guys, it's Kino. Welcome to another video. I hope that you guys are all having a great start to 2022, and I want to take this time to thank you for being here with me for another year. I already have so many readings planned for you guys. I'm really excited to share them with you, and today I have a new pick a card for you. But just before we get into it, we do have a sponsor for today's video, so please join me in welcoming Fabulous. Fabulous is the #1 self-care app to help you build better habits and achieve your goals. With the new year having just begun, I'm sure many of you guys have resolutions and goals that you want to achieve. But did you know that around 80% of us are going to give up on these goals in the first 2 months? I was talking about this just a few days ago on my channel, but I think that we all could benefit from being a lot more gentle with ourselves when it comes to completing our resolutions. And I think that one of the reasons that so many of us struggle with completing them is that we try to do too much too fast. I also think that we tend to put too much focus on the end goal as opposed to the daily habits and the lifestyle changes that we need to make in order to get there. So this is why I really like Fabulous, because it has such a gentle and kind approach. It's fun to use, and it focuses on just that, on the daily small changes that we make little by little that eventually add up over time and help us to get to where we want to go. The app has guided programs. These are called journeys, and they actually have journeys for a lot of the really common New Year's resolutions, like getting better sleep, exercising more, eating healthier. I personally started using the app by following a journey, and then once I got used to it, I started building my own routines by myself. And I have really enjoyed that there are check-ins so that you can see how you're doing, if you are feeling better. Also, can we talk about how beautiful this app is? It is so colorful. It just looks so magical and fantastical. If you guys want to give Fabulous a try, they are offering 25% off your subscription for the first 100 people who use my link. It will be down below in the description as well as in the pinned comment for you. So thank you so much to Fabulous for sponsoring today's video. Thank you so much to you guys for listening to that, and now let's get on to the reading. Hi guys, it's Kino. Welcome to another video. So in this reading, we are going to be exploring all about your journey to union with your person. When I say your person, that is just any person you are thinking about, and we are going to see whether this union is being helped or blocked or both by opposing forces, and if so, we are going to see what is helping this union and what might be blocking this union. Now, this reading is for anybody, no matter what your situation is. Even if you don't know who you're asking about, like if it's just you want to know about the union between you and your soulmate, but maybe you don't know who your soulmate is yet, or you haven't met them in the 3D yet, whatever it might be, really any situation that you guys are in, you are welcome to watch this reading. So there are 4 options for you guys to choose from today, and each option will use a different tarot deck, and I've also placed little crystals on top so that you have another element to make your choice. And also, I'm going to show you guys a card from each of the decks so that you can see not only what the back artwork looks like, but what the artwork of the actual, the actual card looks like. And I'm going to be showing you guys the Knight of Cups today because I thought that was a nice depiction of someone on a journey and making moves to give offerings of love and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, let's get right to it without further ado and give you a close-up look at each of your options. So option number 1, your stone is Charoite. I hope that I'm saying that correctly. And your deck is the Starchild Tarot. And this is what the Knight of Cups looks like. Option number 2, your stone is Blue Lace Agate, and your deck is the Pastel Journey Tarot, and this is what the Knight of Cups looks like. Option number 3, your stone is Rhodochrosite, and your deck is the Moonchild Tarot, and this is what the Knight of Cups looks like. Option number 4, your stone is White Moonstone, and your deck is the Gentle Heart Tarot, and this is what the Knight of Cups looks like. So these are all your options today. I laid them out side by side so that you can look at all of the artwork at the same time and compare them and see which one is really calling to you. Take all the time you need to pick. You can pause the video if you need to. I'm gonna go ahead and get started with number 1. Hi number ones. So if you guys chose the Charoite and the Starchild Tarot, this is going to be a reading all about what is helping or blocking your union with your person or the person you are thinking about. So I'm just going to give a quick breakdown of how this reading will go. We are going to start with an energy check of the connection between you and your person, and then we're going to dive right in and see what is helping on your journey to union and what might be hindering your journey to union. Then we are going to get some messages from your person, some messages from your spirit guides, and then finally we are going to see if there are any significant time frames on this journey that you guys should know about. So let's get right into it. I'm going to start with these oracle cards to do the energy check, and I am going to be doing this as usual in the person A, person B style, meaning that I'm not going to say this one is you and this one is them, but rather as I describe the two energies, you guys can see how it fits for you. If you feel more like person A or person B, you may feel like you resonate on both sides. That is totally normal. That likely just means that you and your person are mirroring each other very, very closely and feeling a lot of the same things. But if you find that you and your person are not really resonating with either side, then this may not be the pile for you. So you can think of this part of the reading as like your way to check if this is your pile. So this card is going to be the energy that exists between the two of you, and we'll take a look at this one last. So for person A, their role in the connection is coming through as the star. So how the star feels about their counterpart is coming through as the turtle. And how the star is feeling about the connection is coming through as defeat. Okay, so over here for person B, their role in the connection is coming through as the world. How the world is feeling about their counterpart is coming through as the rabbit. And how the world is feeling about the connection is coming through as grieve. Interesting that we have kind of similar energies on both sides. Okay, so first thing we want to check is zodiac signs. This can be a confirmation for you guys if you do have the signs that are present here. You definitely don't need to though. This is just like an extra layer of confirmation for those who may need it. We have Aquarius energy here with the star. We also have water sign energy with the turtle, earth sign energy with the rabbit, and then the world is all of the fixed signs. So Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. I'm also going to throw in Capricorn just because the world has an association with Saturn, so that might be relevant to some of you. I know that's a lot of zodiac signs, but there you go. And also a couple things, because we do have the star and the world here. You guys might resonate with starseed energy or resonate with being a light worker. You may feel that this person is your divine counterpart or this is a heavily fated relationship. And you may also feel that you have a special mission on this earth with this person. There's something that you're meant to collaborate on together to help uplift the world. Even if you're not entirely sure what that is yet, you might have that kind of inkling. And with the world here, this can also be indicative of a long distance relationship or a connection in which there is some level of, physical separation. This can also be indicative of you guys being from different backgrounds, different countries, different cultures. But what I also want to say with the star in the world is that you guys as a couple would be so inspirational. People would admire you as a couple so much. People would think you are so cool, you are so good for each other, you are so good to each other, and people would aspire to be like you and to have a relationship like you. You guys are like the power couple. You guys are like couple goals. or you would be if you came together. This is what I'm seeing from these cards. And actually, I got this exact combo in a How They're Feeling About You reading. It was back in September, but I still remember it because I just thought, oh, what a nice, what a nice combination. So I don't know if maybe some of you guys chose that group back in September. So the similarities between you and your person, I do have to say that your feelings for each other are mirrored at this time. The World card for me is just always an indication of that, reciprocated mutual feelings. So, you know, you care about this person cares about you. If you love this person loves you. If you miss this person, they miss you. Even if you haven't met them before in the 3D, if you are like, I don't know who you are, but I hope you're out there and I'm longing for you and I want to meet you, that feeling would also be reciprocated. That feeling would also be reflected. So we do have mutual feelings here. Now, as for the differences, I would say that the star person, now the desire for this connection is there on both sides, but it's almost like the star person thinks about it a lot more. The star person it's coming through as a deeper or more intense longing, or this connection is more on the forefront of their mind. The star already has within it this meaning of, you know, a very special wish, a very big dream. But on this deck, the way the cat is looking up at the star and spilling out the water, to me, I just always get this feeling of somebody who is so into something or someone that they are distracted. They're maybe not focusing on other areas of their life as much as they should, or maybe not paying attention. You know, like imagine somebody is daydreaming about their person and then they realize they haven't been listening to their lecture, or they haven't been listening to their boss for the past 5 minutes because they were, you know, thinking about their person with the wind blowing through their hair or something like that. It's that kind of energy with the star, whereas the world person seems to be a little bit more grounded. The star person's like up in their head, up in the clouds, while the world person is more grounded. Even just thinking of like where the star is up in the sky versus where the world is, it's like here, it's on the ground. And then also with the world having its association with Saturn, which I felt like mentioning, it just feels like a little bit more practical, a little bit more realistic, a little bit more grounded, down to earth kind of energy. But I would say that the world person, the wording I want to say is like they have a little bit of an advantage when it comes to not thinking about the star person, which is kind of a weird way to phrase it. But I think that the world person has more going on for them right now. I think the world person is more busy at work. Maybe the world person has a bigger social circle, or they just have to interact with more people on a day-to-day basis. The world person might have a lot of people they need to answer to, a lot of people who are relying on them and they need to deliver. So all of these things kind of act as anchors to keep them down on earth, to keep them occupied. So again, it's not that the feelings are not returned, it's just that the world person has more going in the world. And so, yeah, they're maybe not gonna get lost in their daydreams and fantasies as much. They're gonna stay focused on the task at hand. Whereas for the star person, I feel like they're, you know, things getting rolling for them, things getting busy in their life, things taking off. It's like and I don't know how to say this, it's a from now on thing. Like it's yet to come. That's the way I want to say. So the star person might have not gotten to where they want to be in life yet, maybe not realize a lot of their goals yet, and it's still just ideas, it's still just potential, and they will get there, but it feels like they're more in maybe kind of a slow time of their life. Things are not really moving, and so they don't have as many things to keep them busy or as many things to keep them distracted, so to speak. So if they have a wandering mind, of course it's going to go to the world. Of course it's going to go to the person that they care about or the person out there that they want to meet. And I bet you if the world person didn't have so many million things on their plate, they would be acting like this star person as well. So I think, you know, the different approaches to the connection, at least what I can see so far, it's largely like circumstantial. There is a specific message for those of you who are asking about an ex or somebody that you're in separation with. I would say again, while the feelings are mutual, one significant difference might be that the star person is still wishing for a possibility of reunion, where the world person sort of feels like it's over, maybe feels like they missed their chance or feels like they need to move on. The star person might feel like there's unfinished business, whereas the world person doesn't. Like it's over for them. They've felt that sadness and are trying to move on now. But that's just for those of you who are in like a separation or a breakup kind of situation. So moving on now to these animals, I think this makes a lot of sense. How the star person is viewing their counterpart is the turtle. So the star person might feel that the turtle is being a little bit of a slow poke when it comes to manifesting into their life or when it comes to making a move. They're maybe feeling kind of frustrated, and it makes sense if they are daydreaming all the time. Maybe, they're letting their imagination run away. They're getting a little bit ahead of themselves, or at least getting a little bit ahead of the universe's schedule. And they want more. It feels like the star person is really eager. They want things to come through now. And so they're feeling that, the world person is kind of slow. But the turtle also talks about perseverance and longevity. It makes me think of something that has staying power. So it's not necessarily that the star person is not willing to wait. It's just like they're really anxious for things to come together. They're really eager for things to come together. The star person has such a pure heart. I really, really like the energy of this star person. And the star person knows that the world person is worth the wait. They really, really do. And if you are resonating with the star person and you're pretty sure that this connection is worth the wait, I think the turtle is saying that it is. And another thing I want to point out, you see how the star person is distracted and the world person is looking at them? So it kind of gives me this vibe of the world person is checking them out and they don't notice. So, sneaking glances at them or checking up on their socials or checking up on them in the astral realms. Like they might be showing up in the star person's dream and the star person hasn't noticed yet, but they're around. The world person is around. Their presence is around. Now, the rabbit is like total, it's like the tortoise and the hare. Feels like total opposite of the turtle's energy. So while the star person feels that their counterpart is being too slow, the world person might feel that their counterpart is being a little bit too fast. They might feel while they are longing for this connection, practically they're not quite ready for it just yet. Or if this is somebody that you're already involved with, then the world person might feel like, we're not ready to reunite. We still have to work some things out on our own. We still have to heal. There's just this feeling of, I don't want to rush things. I want to take things slow. This could also be something like if you haven't met this person yet, you might just have kind of different expectations of how fast you want the relationship to go. Like when you're dating and stuff, maybe the star person is really, really eager to get things moving forward, whereas the world person just wants to like take it easy, take it slow, which could cause a little bit of friction, a little bit of frustration on both sides, but that's not to say that you can't work things out. I think that you could find a healthy middle ground with some open communication. And I also want to say another symbol of the rabbit is fertility. So the world person might find the star person to be very fertile, so to speak, meaning we could give birth to so many ideas together, to so many cool projects, to so many adventures. The possibilities are endless. Or it could be in the literal sense of fertility, like, having babies, making a family. So, and I'm even thinking of Empress energy now. The world person thinks that the star person deserves all of the best in the world and that they should move towards and create anything that they set their mind to. They should create their best abundant life. The world really wishes nothing but the best for the star person. So now let's take a look at this defeat and grief. So I'm sure you can tell that these energies are a little bit of bummers. So I wonder, maybe you guys are in a separation right now, or you just miss each other, or things are just not how you want them to be. It's very interesting, again, that you're both coming through as stars. So I don't know, maybe you guys really do resonate with starseed energy, or this is just confirmation that this is a past life connection. And there is this mutual longing. I know I already said that, but it's just really coming through strongly that there's a mutual longing. Another thing I want to say, a difference in how these two people experience the connection. I think that the star person might look into things too much, because this star has 5 eyes, which is, you know, quite a bit more than the average creature, unless you're a spider. But, you know, more eyes makes me think like looking into things too much, whereas this star has 2 eyes and is just taking things at face value. So, you know, just an example, this person might be a little bit of an overthinker. So if they didn't hear from their counterpart for some time, their mind might start racing about, what does this mean? Do they not like me anymore? Or similarly, if they see a little thing in their waking life that looks like a sign, they might really, really look into that and be like, oh my gosh, this is a sign that we're meant to be and we're going to get together tomorrow. It kind of feels their emotional processes through this journey might be a little bit volatile, because whenever something happens, they like really tunnel vision on it and look into it a lot, which can cause them a lot of frustration. You see this spiral on the star's head. This to me is just like confusion, exasperation. I don't know what to make of this. And all of the eyes are looking up at it and crying. I think that this person can mentally exhaust themselves and exasperate themselves because of the weight they put on everything that happens in this journey. You know, in any journey, in any connection, it's normal to have ups and downs. It's normal to have periods of fast growth, periods of slow growth, periods of stagnation, moments of really good compatibility, moments of not so much. Like, every relationship has these things. But because this connection in this person is so important to the star, it's like they feel all of those fluctuations so sensitively and so deeply, and this can really, really get them in their head and really, really get them confused. And I hope that this is something that they'll be able to work through. I am the freaking queen of overthinking, and it sucks. And my heart goes out to anybody who is an overthinker. And I hope that we can overcome this. But yes, this is something I hope that the star person would be able to work through. Whereas the world person, it seems like they just take the emotions as they come. I think this is illustrated by, again, the fact that there's only 2 eyes here. So it's like taking things at face value. And also, it's like this person is crying along with the rain. And it makes me think of going with the flow of nature. Like, when the sky cries, I cry. When I feel something, I just feel it. I don't like question it a million times and overanalyze it and confuse myself about what it means. I just feel the things. I think this person processes emotions in a more simple way and in a more like raw and pure, it is what it is way. Whereas this energy is a little bit more like, you know, picking it apart a lot, which can be tough. And yeah, like defeat and grief, there's this feeling of you guys miss each other. Even if you haven't met before, you miss each other's energy. Your souls miss each other. If you guys have been involved in the 3D and are in separation, there's this feeling of missing each other. Okay, so, oh yes, okay, let's take a look at the middle card. I was gonna get into the tarot, but we have one more card to look at here, which is gonna represent the energy that exists between the two of you, and we have rebirth. It's so funny, as soon as I flip over the rebirth card, some water started running. Is that a confirmation? Is that a sign? I don't know, but we do have rebirth here. I just wanna talk about what do I want to talk about first? There's like so much coming through here, but obviously this is a very exciting energy. There is potential for a new chapter within this connection. This can be referring to a rebirth that you guys have gone through as individuals. And I wanted to say this rebirth is like a journey of self-love, because we have the number 16 here. The digit 1 makes me think of the self, the digit 6 makes me think of love, and in fact, I actually think the card number 61 in this deck says self-love on it. But you guys have both been on respective journeys of self-love, and I think that as you come to love yourself more and more, your vision of what kind of relationship you want to have and what you expect from your partner, what you will and won't tolerate from your partner, and even just your life path, all of these things start to change, and all of these things start to really take form and cement themselves. And maybe it's important that you guys go through these journeys as individuals before coming together into the most harmonious partnership. I also wanted to say the number 16, first adding up the digits, it is 7, which is the number of the Chariot, which talks about fast progress, victory, things rushing forward suddenly. So it is giving me kind of breakthrough energy. And also the number 16 is the Tower. It is the Tower in tarot. So there might be some Tower moments that are going to lead to your rebirth, and that would ultimately lead to your union or your reunion. But this is a really nice card, really exciting energy to have in the middle. Let me get my grimy fingerprints off of it. Okay, and now let's move on to your tarot. So you guys chose the Starchild tarot, and in this section of the reading we are going to see whether your union is being helped or blocked right now, and if so, what is helping it and what is blocking it. And as you guys know, or maybe you don't, but I usually don't read reversals on this channel, but for today's reading I am going to be taking the reversals, because if there are more cards in the upright, I will take this as a message that your union is being helped, or more so helped, and if there are more cards in the reverse, I will take it as a message that your union is being more so blocked. And then we'll take a look deeper into the meaning of the cards to interpret what's going on further. All right, so group 1, my star and my world, my Charoite, and you guys chose the Starchild as well, and you have 2 sad little stars who miss each other. All right, so, oh my gosh, we have the 4 of Wands that came out in the upright, and I laugh because 4 of Wands is literally a card about union, so pretty clear message here, I have to say. Then we have the 5 of Cups in reverse. We have the 4 of Cups in the upright. I don't remember if I said this, but I'm going to take 5 cards. This is sideways, so okay. 3 of Cups in the upright. Okay, so this is you already have 3 upright, so your union is being helped. And finally, we have the Knight of Wands in reverse. Yes, so 3 uprights and 2 reversals. Upright wins. And so your union is being more so helped right now than it is blocked, which I love to see. I was pretty sure of that when I saw the 4 of Wands come out in the upright as the first card, and I would have been pretty surprised if we pulled all of these and turned out that it was being blocked, but yes. The Star and the 4 of Wands for me are like the strongest indicators of divine counterparts, of twin flames, of high-level soulmates, whatever label you guys resonate with. So if you did have someone in mind, then it's a really strong confirmation of your connection. Like I mentioned when this card first came out, this is a card that talks about unions, joyous unions, weddings, marriages. You get the picture. And it's also referred to as the 1111 card sometimes. It doesn't really look like that because the wands are horizontal in this card, but you know, if you flip it this way, you could call that an 1111. The Four of Wands is also just about pure joy, contentment, bliss. I want to tell you guys that this union, this connection will make you as happy as you think about it, as happy as you dream about it. You will have a very contented home life together. You either have a joint purpose or you will just be really, really key in supporting each other to fulfill your individual purposes. Because as you guys might know, very often the journey to answering your calling and acting out your purpose it's not always easy. It's not always fun. You can get discouraged a lot. You can come up against a lot of obstacles. And it's really important to have a nice community and support system and loved ones who believe in you. And that's exactly what you guys are going to be for each other. This can also be an indication that your respective circles will like each other a lot, or they do like each other a lot if they've already mingled. So like your friends, your family, the people you work with, your neighbors, everybody loves you guys, and your bros will love their bros and vice versa. Then we have the Five of Cups in reverse. This is actually a nice card to be in reverse because the Five of Cups talks about loss. It talks about heartbreak, disappointment, sadness. And with this in the reverse, it does make me think that you guys will be healing from the heartbreak, any heartbreak and sadness that exists in this connection, or any heartbreak and sadness that you feel has kind of put a damper on your manifestations, any wounds that are unhealed. I'm really happy that we have this Five of Cups in the reverse because these two crying stars were like really breaking my heart. So it's nice to see that we have some healing coming your way in this connection. Oh my gosh, I was just talking about like your friends and your circles liking each other, and then we have the Three of Cups here, which I totally forgot about. But yes, that is even more confirmation of that. Your communities will just blend together so seamlessly. The Three of Cups here, this could also be indicating that you guys will be friends first when you come together or when you come back together, and it will build up at kind of like a more slow and leisurely pace. Things will build naturally, I guess, is what I want to say. Things will not be like rushed or forced. The Three of Cups can also indicate that when you do come together or come back together, there will be some facilitation from a third party. So somebody who is introducing you, a mutual person, a mutual acquaintance or friend, somebody who is setting you up. Three of Cups also for me often indicates coming together in a public place, in some kind of event, in some kind of party. And it's usually a more relaxed atmosphere rather than like a serious or professional one. You know, like a get together with friends, a celebration of sorts. Could even be like literally a wedding, because the Four of Wands talks about weddings. So when you do meet this person or the next time you see them, that could be sort of the environment that your union is happening in. Knight of Wands in reverse, somebody has a lack of confidence. This could honestly be both of you, but in the upright, the Knight of Wands tends to talk about someone who is a go-getter, someone who's confidently going after what they want, you know, very, very out there, very charming, very outgoing. So in the reverse, I'm definitely seeing this as someone who could be a little bit shy, someone who could be a little bit insecure, whether that's their general energy or just when it comes to this connection. And I'm wondering, I feel like it might be more so referring to the star person. I totally noticed this when I looked at the cards and then I forgot to mention it, but in addition to the eyes, this star has hands and this star doesn't. So when I think of having hands, it's like you have the power to orchestrate things. You have the power to change things and interact with things. So I think the star person, it's more like if the ball was in somebody's court, it would be in the star person's court. Maybe the star person has more available to them to make a move right now, or they're in a better place to make a move. But if they lack confidence, then they might not see that. Maybe the star person, it's like they could reach out at any time, but they don't really think that the world person would look back at them, or that the world person would want to hear from them. But the world person's already like keeping tabs on the star person, whether that's energetically or in the 3D. It almost feels like the world person is anticipating something from the star. And this could honestly, at the end of the day, this might be a little bit of both of your energies, just feeling uneasy, like if everything is going to be okay. It will, it absolutely will with these cards, but it makes sense. Like when something is really important to you, it's easy to worry, it's easy to feel uneasy. And that's why I said, like, my heart really, really goes out to any of you who find yourself overthinking this connection, because when you're presented with the potential for so much happiness, it is nerve-wracking. You don't want to drop the ball, you don't want to let it pass you by. So it's okay to be nervous. Let's be nervous together and let's get over it together. Okay, I didn't talk about this Four of Cups yet. So, it's interesting that usually the fourth cup would be, and I've seen this card in this deck so many times, but I don't think I've ever talked about this before. Usually the fourth cup would be like coming out of the side of the card and this person doesn't see it. But in this case, the cup is spilled. So it's kind of giving like Five of Cups vibes rather than Four of Cups. The Four of Cups can talk about discontentment, dissatisfaction with the current situation. Maybe this is the feeling that is mutual for you guys, missing each other and just not feeling quite happy with the way things are. And maybe the key to having this rebirth is being honest about that, is opening up about that. Like, I'm not happy with the way things are. This sucks. Like, we don't talk anymore, or we're not in each other's lives. If you can't reach out to this person directly, let your spirit guides have it. Let your angels have it. Maybe the first step is opening up about your dissatisfaction, getting that off your chest. I'm going to pull a clarifier for the Four of Cups. We have the Eight of Cups. Okay, there's this feeling of somebody walked away to pursue greater things or to find greater fulfillment, but they didn't find it. Maybe like with the world here, maybe somebody moved away to pursue a dream and then it didn't make them happy. Or if this is a separation, the person who chose to walk away realized that that didn't make them happy, realized that they shouldn't have done that. Could be even somebody's career path. Like they abandoned a lot, or they sacrificed a lot to pursue a certain career, and then it just wasn't what they thought it was. I'm not really sure why that would be coming through if it's a career thing. Maybe because that's what caused a wedge between the two of you, or caused distance between the two of you. But in any case, it's like someone walked away and then wasn't satisfied with their choice and is kind of regretting it, but maybe thinks that they can't make things right or something like that. Oh, yeah, it's like, for example, if somebody walked away and they regret it, but they're not confident enough to go back and say, I made a mistake, because that takes a lot of swallowing your pride, and you don't know, maybe the other person is upset at you for walking away and doesn't want anything to do with you. That may not necessarily be your situation, but that's like a hypothetical example of what this energy is representing. Like, it's a little bit difficult to backpedal now. It's a little bit difficult to go back when I've already, risked so much to take this path, or sacrificed so much, or I was so bold in taking this path. Now that I'm not happy with it, it's like, what do I do? So there's kind of that feeling going on here. And there's another... Did this card come out originally upright? I think it did. Anyway, so let's take a look now at messages from your person. This is half of a deck that I already had before that I've used in like soulmate readings and stuff like that. But I added some more shadow messages as well. So like I think they're still mostly positive, but there's some kind of like not so positive messages in here as well. I thought I would add those just to get a more well-rounded and balanced sample to draw from. I will say this is the first time I'm using this in a reading, and I've tested it out a couple times, and sometimes it is a little bit confusing. Sometimes there are conflicting messages, but honestly, even that I think is realistic because humans are complex, humans are confusing. We can definitely hold two contradicting thoughts at the same time, or maybe like your head is saying something but your heart is saying something else. Your ego is saying something but your intuition is saying something else. So I'm just going to lay a bunch of them out and kind of look at them as a whole and see what's going on, see what your person wants to tell you. Okay, group 1. What would your person like to tell you? So the first card is I don't feel this connection, and it's not focusing, but I want to make a distinction with this card because I made 2 of them. There's I don't feel a connection, and there's I don't feel this connection. And the I don't feel a connection card would mean like I don't feel connected to you, I don't feel a spark. But the I don't feel this connection is in reference to the spiritual connection. So it doesn't mean that this person like doesn't feel connected to you or doesn't have feelings for you, but it's like I don't pick up on the spiritual side of it. Either I don't pick up on it, or maybe they don't believe in that kind of thing. We have do you think about me? So this person is wondering if you check up on them. We have I am manifesting you. If this person is not really the spiritual type, if they're kind of the skeptical type, then we can take this I am manifesting you to be an unconscious manifestation, because as you guys might know, we're manifesting stuff all the time, whether we're trying to or not, whether we believe in it or not. So, you know, this person might not be like scripting and doing rituals and stuff, but every time they think about you, that's a seed planted, that's an intention set. So it does look like they are thinking about you quite a bit, that they have their sights set on you. Ooh, okay, we have I dream of you all the time. Interesting. So again, like this person probably dreams about you all the time and then just thinks it's, you know, maybe they think it's a coincidence, or they just think that, oh, it must be because I'm thinking about you a lot. They don't really sense you are actually visiting them. They don't really sense there is actually a deeper meaning in the dreams. That's kind of the vibe that I'm picking up. I didn't know what love was until I met you. Okay, this is getting like progressively more intense. I feel like I've lost you. So that was a sentiment that had come out earlier in this reading. And then at the bottom of the deck, we have I'm sorry. So if you know who this person is, then maybe you know what this I'm sorry is referring to. If this is somebody that you haven't united with in the 3D yet, they could be sorry that they are taking so long. They could be sorry that you have to be alone and missing them and going through whatever you're going through, and they're not there in the flesh to support you. I didn't really have a specific feeling in mind when I wrote this. I just felt compelled to write it. So but that's their last message. So let's take a look now at the messages and advice from your spirit guides, from these oracle cards from various decks. The first one is you are limitless. You can do anything you choose. This is the kind of energy that the Knight of Wands should have. What is this man doing? Where is his horse? Where are his parents? Like, this is his horse probably, because this horse doesn't have a knight. And you know, he's coming out in reverse because he's lacking confidence. He's not taking action. This is your guides being like, yeehaw, bitch. Like, it's time to go. You are limitless. We have the number 4 again, which is like the 4 of Wands. Number 4 confirms that you're on the right path, that you're safe. We have 2 freaking, are these swans or geese? I'm going to take them as swans because swans are a symbol of mirroring and reflection. They make me think of divine counterparts. We have peacock feathers here, which encourages you to be confident and bold and go for it. With the unicorn here, unicorns make me think of uniqueness and weirdness, but also magic. I think there's something very, very special and magical about this connection. And if you feel like this whole connection is surreal and you can't explain it, that's okay. that doesn't make it any less valid. Just because you can't analyze it and pick it apart, it doesn't mean that it's not valid. And you guys can manifest. There's so much potential here. You guys can manifest any outcome in this connection. We also have Willow Spirit with flexibility. I definitely think this is your guide saying we are flexible. Again, going back to, you're limitless and we are flexible. It's your world, we're just living in it. That's what your guides would say to you. So whatever it is that you want, they will follow. Whatever intention you're setting, they will follow. They are here to facilitate things. Now, in addition, this could also be your spirit guides asking you to be flexible. So while they will respond to your wishes and do everything in their power to deliver your wishes to you, maybe they would like you to be flexible about the timing or flexible about the way everything comes together. Just to not be so like rigid in your expectations. We have I am creator. So again, huge manifestation energy coming through here. And we have trust, faith in the power of the universe. That's so interesting. It's like these two cards are going really well together in terms of having a nice dance with the universe. You're using both your creativity and your willpower and your trust and faith and flexibility. And then these are like reiterating that again, using your creativity and willpower and trust and faith and flexibility. I stumbled a bit on my words there, but you get it. I think your guides are trying to illustrate this dance that we do with the universe. It's not all on us to make things happen, and it's not all on the universe to make things happen. We co-create. And when we're co-creating, we have to yield to each other. We have to understand each other. If two people are trying to co-create, but they're both really, really, really stubborn, you're not going to get anywhere. So it's this idea of dancing nicely with the universe. And it's very hard to find that balance. So, this is easier said than done. It's hard to find that balance of when do I take action? When do I push for what I want? And when do I surrender? When do I wait? And yeah, it's like a dance that you learn with muscle memory. You learn it as you go. And it's definitely frustrating at first, but the frustration doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. It just means you're learning the balance. Okay, so finally, I'm going to aim to take two, but if more fall out, more fall out. I'm going to use this deck to see if there are any important time frames that you guys should know about on this journey. So first we have fire. So the next fire season could be significant. At the time that this video is, oh no, that says 5, but take fire as well. I'm like reading cards wrong quite a bit recently. At the time that this is being filmed, the next fire season is Aries, which is late March to late April. And then actually 5 could be May, like the 5th month, and that makes a window. See, I meant to do that. So like late March until the end of May, that might be a significant time frame for you guys. And then we also have 11th house. So this could be talking about Aquarius season because Aquarius is related to the 11th house. That is late January to late February. Or if you guys know your birth time, the sign that is in your 11th house could be the relevant season. So for example, I am a Taurus rising, so my 11th house would be Pisces. So for me, this would be talking about Pisces season. For you, it might be something else. But yeah, if you know your birth time, you can take your 11th house season. Oh my gosh, and there's Aquarius at the bottom of the deck. So yeah, Aquarius season as well. All right, so these are all the messages I have for you guys, so I'm going to end the reading here. Thank you very, very much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. I also have a Patreon, so if you guys are interested in seeing even more exclusive pick-a-cards where you get to choose the topic, that will be linked down below too. I'm sending lots of love to you, your person, your guides, and their guides, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye! Hi number twos. So if you guys chose the Blue Lace Agate and the Pastel Journey Tarot, this is going to be a reading all about what is helping or blocking the union between you and your person. So just the person you are thinking about. I want to start off by doing a quick breakdown of how this reading will go. First, we're going to do an energy check on the connection between you and your person, and then we will dive into whether the union is being helped or blocked, and if so, by what. Then we will get some messages from your person, some messages from your spirit guides, and finally, we'll see if there are any important time frames in this journey that you guys should know about. So that's how it's going to go. Let's start off with the energy check. So I'm going to be doing this as usual in the person A, person B style, meaning that I'm not going to say this is you and this is them, but as I describe the two energies, you guys can discern which side is resonating more for you and which side is resonating more for them. If you find that you're resonating with both sides, that's normal, that's okay. It just means that you and your person are probably mirroring each other very closely and are feeling a lot of the same things in this connection. But if you find that you don't really resonate with either side, then maybe this is not the group for you. So you can think of this first part of the reading as like a way to check if this energy is matching. Okay, so this card is going to be like the energy that exists between the two of you, and we're going to look at this one last. So over here, person A is being represented by the Empress. And how the Empress feels about their counterpart is represented by the Vulture. And how the Empress feels about this connection is represented by anxiety. Person B is represented by the Moon. How the Moon feels about their counterpart is represented by the Mouse. And how the Moon feels about the connection is represented by fear. Man, this deck is giving us some challenging energy so far. Group 1 it was defeat and grief, and now you guys have anxiety and fear. It does look like there is some mirroring going on here, but I guess not a very pleasant mirroring situation. I want to mention about the zodiac signs that are present here. This can be a confirmation if you guys or the person you are thinking about have these signs in your chart, but you definitely don't have to. This is just an extra layer of confirmation for those who need it. With the Empress over here, we have Taurus and Libra energy, and we have Pisces energy with the Moon. And then we have air energy here with the Vulture and earth energy here with the Mouse. So what I can say, first of all, is that this is kind of a dynamic that I see pretty often with counterparts, with soulmates, twin flames, whatever label you guys resonate with, where it's kind of like before the union, one counterpart has been mastering the physical world and one counterpart has been mastering the spiritual world, so to speak. And then when they come together, this counterpart who has mastered the spiritual world can activate the spiritual insights within this person, teach them about their soul, teach them about the spiritual world. And then this counterpart who has mastered the 3D, so created material abundance, created success, they can help pull up their counterpart to experience material abundance and success. And I've seen this dynamic quite a bit. It's kind of like we're working on our own missions so that when we come together, it's more efficient and we can help each other. It's like that kind of vibe. And I think the Empress person is the one who's really, really been creating abundance in the material sense. And the Moon person is the one who's really, really been creating abundance in the spiritual sense. Now, of course, humans are multifaceted. So I'm sure both of you are cultivating wisdom in both. But if we had to say which one you are more advanced in, I think this is how it would go. I would also say, just in general, the Empress person is likely the more grounded, here on earth type of energy. And the moon is more spiritual, very vivid imagination, very dreamy, this kind of energy. A little bit more spiritually aware or spiritually inclined, I would say the moon person is. I would also say the Empress is likely the one who is more outgoing and in the mix, whereas the moon person is likely a little bit more reserved, a little bit more introverted. So maybe this can help you already to determine who is who. But what these two people have in common is that they are overflowing with kindness and compassion. Both of you guys have hearts of gold. Both of you guys have a nurturing and generous spirit. And I do believe that this is extended to everybody you meet, but especially someone who's in your circle. Both of you have this spirit where when you love someone, you will take the best care of them. You will do the utmost for them. You really want them to feel special. You want them to feel prized, like the treasure that they are, because you will really see your loved ones as a treasure. Both of you guys are very, very beautiful, but what I'm being shown is like the Empress person is more of a conventional attractive, if that makes sense, like more of an earthly attractive, whereas the moon person has more of an otherworldly, ethereal, unconventional kind of beauty. Oh, and also both of you guys could be incredibly talented in some form of art. It doesn't necessarily have to be the same one. Like maybe the Empress person has an eye for fashion and the moon person is a really good singer or something like that. And actually, because the Empress is it has a lot of, I don't know if undertones is the right word. It has a lot of indications of like beauty and aesthetics and things like that. Maybe the Empress's talent is in something visual, in something aesthetic. And when it comes to the moon, the talent is more something that moves you emotionally, like maybe music or writing or something like that. But I think both of you are incredibly talented and very, very, very kind. And you would both be amazing parents if that's something that you want. You'll be amazing friends to each other. Like you're so sweet. Anybody would be lucky to know you guys. So, I will also say the Empress may have more responsibilities just at the moment. That can always change, but in the current energy, it seems like the Empress person has more responsibilities or has more going in their life right now. So moving on here, we have the vulture and the mouse. So this is interesting too. Group one had a rabbit and a turtle. So that went together really well, like tortoise and a hare, fast and slow kind of energy. And you guys have vulture and mouse, which is kind of giving me predator and prey vibes. Not in a bad way, but just it's interesting how the animals are matching. And what I'm seeing is that you guys might both be kind of intimidated by each other. Especially, I think the moon person looks up to the Empress person so much and thinks like, the Empress person is so cool. This Empress person is just my type. They're everything I would want in a partner, but I feel like they're out of my league. I don't know if the Empress would look at me that way or like me that way. But meanwhile, the Empress is kind of scared and intimidated by the moon person. The moon person has this cool, calm, collected, and very ethereal vibe to them. Maybe it's kind of like, so I'll use myself as an example. People always tell me I have like a calming and soothing vibe, whereas on the inside, I feel very like flustered and frantic and anxious. And I'm getting similar vibes to the moon person, where the moon person might see themselves as like, oh, I don't have it together, or I'm a mess, I'm this and that. But they come across as so poised. And I'm sorry for using this word so much, but I think that many people would describe the moon person as ethereal and having this really soothing vibe. And the Empress is like, oh my God, the moon person is so cool because they just come off as so graceful and composed and unbothered. And both people are really admiring and looking up to each other, and both people are low-key intimidated of each other. But I think the Empress is especially intimidated by the Moon person, which the Moon person will probably be like, what are you talking about? I'm a potato. Not that either of you are a potato, but like, it's like, what are you, me? Intimidating? What the, like, I just have a feeling the Moon person would be really, really surprised to hear that, especially if the Empress is more successful in a traditional way, like has more money or has more status or has like a bigger circle or a bigger platform or whatever it might be. It's like, you have all this stuff. Why would you be intimidated by somebody like me? I think the Empress is just in awe at the Moon person's spiritual and emotional depth, the Moon person's complexity, and, you know, the Moon person's ability to read into situations and read people. Probably the Empress feels like the Moon person can see right through them, which brings me to this little mouse, because the Moon person probably doesn't give themselves enough credit. They're super cool and they don't see it. They read the situation so well and they don't see it. They see right through the Empress and they don't see it. The Moon person needs to give themselves more credit. And the way the Moon person would describe the Empress or the Empress's energy is elusive. I'm just thinking of, imagine there's a little mouse in your house and you're trying to catch it, but it's so small and it's like running around all over the place. I feel like the Moon person is always kind of feeling like the Empress's energy is escaping them. Maybe the Moon person feels a bit of distance from the Empress, feels like they cannot reach the Empress in the way that they want to. They want to understand their energy more. They want to be close to their energy more, but that is something that proves to be difficult to them. And I think the Moon person is really, really scared of losing the Empress, because mice, I'm thinking of, I think it has a meaning of loss or theft or something slipping away like that. And that message was just coming to my mind. They're afraid that they will lose the Empress person. And they just want to hold on to them. They just want to hold on to them. I'm also looking at these little specks around the mouse, and they're making me think of spirit guides. So probably the Moon, both of these people actually find each other to be very magical. And I think both of these people feel some kind of divinity, some kind of higher power that brought the two of you together. I would say that that is a mutual recognition. Now, looking at this anxiety and fear, this is quite sad. They're similar vibes, but they're also pretty different. I think it's very interesting that the anxiety person's hands are tied or they're cuffed because they might feel powerless when it comes to moving this connection forward, or they might feel powerless when it comes to expressing themselves in the way that they want to. Now, this could be totally in their head, this anxiety, or they could actually have their hands tied in some way. There might be something related to their career, to their physical location, their geographical location, to their family, to the expectations that are placed on them, to their current relationships. There might be something, real and tangible like that, that is tying their hands and stopping them from coming forward in the way that they want to. Or like I said, it might just be a mental thing, but in any case, I think the Empress person is feeling kind of trapped or stuck, like they want to move forward, they want to do something, but they can't. They can't right now. I did mention earlier, I think the Empress person has a lot of responsibilities and is quite busy. So it could just be that they really want love, but they feel like they can't find the time to meet new people. They feel like all of their responsibilities are keeping them locked in their current situation, and they can't really expand their horizons. They can't really create space for somebody right now. And I think that's making them kind of anxious. The Empress person might feel kind of like they are running behind schedule. Like if they had a plan of when they want to be together with somebody or when they want to be together with this specific person, they might feel like they're late and they're anxious for things to happen soon. And then over here with the moon person, we have fear. Again, this is a kind of similar energy, but I want to point out how many eyes there are. In group 1, there was a card that had 5 eyes, and I was like, holy crap, that's a lot. And now we have 10. Now we have 10 eyes. So this is twice as many. And I'm thinking of each of these eyes as a threat detector, because this looks very scary and frantic. I'm thinking of it as an alarm. I'm thinking of this as somebody. Imagine a person has like 11 smoke detectors in their house, or like 20 security systems in place in their house. It's like they're oversensitive to threats. And I think that, you know, like we said, the moon person might be very, very afraid of losing the Empress person, and they could easily perceive things as, you know, like when the smallest thing goes wrong or when the smallest thing happens unexpectedly, that could like set off their alarm that I'm going to be rejected, I'm going to be abandoned, this isn't going to go well. So maybe there's past wounds for the moon person that is, you know, triggering this excessive fear. I'm thinking of it as like a faulty alarm system that became way too sensitive, maybe because of some past trauma or something like this. If that's the case, my heart really goes out to the moon person. So yeah, it looks like there's a bit of a struggle on both sides, but let's take a look at this card in the middle. This is going to represent the energy between the two of you, and we have teaching and learning, which is so nice. This number really makes me think of change, of growth, of development, learning about spirituality or spiritual awakenings. And oh my gosh, I just realized it took me a few moments to make that connection, but I was talking about that dynamic before, about one counterpart mastering the physical world and one counterpart mastering the spiritual world. And then when they come together, they merge what they know. They merge their knowledge, they merge their accomplishments, and they teach each other and they learn from each other. So that actually fits really, really well. What's 5 plus 7? 5 plus 7 is 12. And that is the number that is related to the Hanged Man. So more Pisces energy in case that is relevant. This connection could be at a standstill right now, or, you know, it feels like things are kind of dragging along, or it's not easy or possible to take action in this connection right now. But definitely everything is unfolding in divine timing. And then if we look at these digits individually, we have the number 5, which relates to the Hierophant. So again, message about teaching and learning. The Hierophant is also about long-term prospects and commitments. So there's definitely potential for this connection to keep growing in the long term. There's potential for marriage as well, if that's something that you guys want. And 7 is related to the Chariot, which is about victory, progress, recognition, breakthroughs. So whatever hurdles are in your way when it comes to this connection, I know that you can get over it. I know that you can succeed in life, in your relationship with each other, in your individual goals. Just know that you will, I want to say prevail. Know that you will prevail. So let's get into your tarot now, and we're going to see if this connection is currently being helped or blocked, and if so, by what. As you guys might know, I usually don't use reversals in my tarot readings, but today I am going to take reversals. I'm going to pull 5 cards, and if most of the cards are upright, then I will take this to mean that your journey is currently being helped more so than blocked. If the majority of them come up in reverse, I'll take this to mean that your connection is being more so blocked than helped. Yes. Okay. Woo. All right. So group 2. This came out sideways, so I'm trying to do the thing where you drop it. Okay, she wants to be upright. Ah! 6 of Wands. Okay. And this is also upright. It's the 5 of Pentacles. Another sideways one. That definitely fell more upright than reverse. So, okay, this is already, we already have 3 out of 5. So you guys are getting the message that your connection is being helped. Four of Wands in the upright. Group 1 got the 4 of Wands in the upright as well. Holy crap, guys. 4 out of 5. And then, what will the last one be? The last one is also upright. And 3 of Swords in the upright. So, holy crap, 5 out of 5 are upright. So this is your guide saying, helped, helped, helped. Your connection is being nothing but helped. All of your guides are on board. This is huge confirmation if you guys were thinking about somebody specific. All the lights are green. What can I say? You literally have the 4 of Wands here, which is a card about divine counterparts, divine unions, weddings, marriages, celebrations, contented, happy life together. Like totally. This is confirming your union, and this is confirming that this union will make you as happy as you hoped it would. Whatever you are fantasizing and daydreaming about, the reality is totally going to live up to that, if not exceed it. This is confirmation of your spiritual connection existing with this person if you needed that confirmation. With the 7 of Wands here, when it comes to divine unions, 7 of Wands is a card that makes me think about a lot of 3D barriers. So you guys could be, and this can be so many things, right? It can be in age difference, it can be physical distance, it could be a difference in your spiritual or religious beliefs, it could be a difference in your culture, nationality, ethnicity. It could be maybe you guys are like a same-sex couple in a place where that is not super accepted or recognized yet. It can be so many things, but it's those tangible 3D barriers. And what this connection is here to teach you is that when a bond like this, when a love like this exists between two souls, these things have zero significance. They do not matter. Maybe one of you guys is a different like status or social class or something like that, because that's something that humans care about a lot. But souls don't give a shit about the same things that our ego cares about. So you guys might have it in your head, like, I can't be with this person because they're like this and I'm like this. They would never like me because they're like this and I'm like this. And this is all just shit that your ego has fed you, that has been perpetuated by society. Like, this is a collective thing. It's not just on you to break these barriers, but the bond that your soul has will always, always trump these things, whatever they are. So if your guides could give you any piece of advice, I think it would be to challenge yourself to deconstruct these limiting beliefs that you have, like reasons why you think this person would be out of your league, reasons why you think you couldn't be together. And is there really any truth to it, or is it just conditioning? Is it just conditioning from society? Is it just your insecurities talking? And, you know, can you imagine a spirit guide believing like that, or an angel believing like that? Probably not, because they transcend ego. They transcend these petty 3D things. And I think you guys just need to be reminded of that. And with the 6 of Wands here, it could very well be that, you know, one of you is very successful, very popular in some way. The 6 of Wands does tend to, it's like somebody who has a lot of admirers or a lot of followers. Maybe you think that they must have a million other options, or they think that you must have a million other options, or something like that. I feel like there's a little bit of a lack of confidence on both ends that would surprise the other person, if that makes sense. You're insecure about that? no, I'm insecure because you have this. It's that kind of mutual admiration. And I want to tell you guys, if you have any flaws, or perceived flaws, I should say, this person does not see them. This person does not even think about them, and vice versa. I think this person also has insecurities and worries about stuff that you would be like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? That doesn't matter. You're amazing. Or what are you talking about? I don't even see that in you. And I wish that you guys could just get together and comfort each other. I think that's ultimately going to be your dynamic, because the Six of Wands is also someone who's incredibly confident and feels really, really good about themselves. And so when you guys get together in your full-on union, you will do wonders for each other to just make each other feel like $1,000,000, make each other feel so confident and so capable, and like you can conquer anything together. With the Three of Swords here, I mean, this is quite literally a heartbreak. This is somebody who has been stabbed in the heart. And I can definitely see this relating to the mouse energy, because they have such a sensitive threat detection system in them. Perhaps this mouse person has been really, really hurt in the past, and this makes them fearful in this. Okay. So, because we have two cards that talk about this kind of sadness, this kind of loss. You know, we spoke about the moon person being a little bit more introverted, being a little bit more reserved. I think deep down on the inside, this moon person really, really does crave closeness and connection and community, but they've just been stabbed in the back and stabbed in the heart so many times that they sit up here on this moon and they act indifferent, they act uninterested, but really it breaks their heart that they would be isolated like this. Really, they want to be outgoing, they want to be carefree and fearless in relationships, they want that closeness, but they're just afraid. And then over here, on the Empress's side, this is a person who has built up a lot for themselves in the material world, I'm feeling. And I think that all of this material possessions and all of this success is like armor, because on the inside, maybe this person doesn't really feel worthy, doesn't really feel good enough. So they accumulate all of this money or all of these possessions, or they accumulate all of these accomplishments to try and fill this void of not feeling good enough, to try to prove themselves. But it never really works. So both of these people are putting on these personas, but on the inside they crave something more. This cool, detached, I'm dreamy, I'm in my own world person really does want to be on earth and in the mix and celebrating with loved ones and feeling loved and sharing. And this I'm so abundant and successful person really doesn't feel good enough, really feels lack on the inside. These are the barriers that need to break, or these are the masks that need to be taken off. Because that's how we transcend these 3D barriers, is when we're brave enough to be vulnerable. And when we recognize the vulnerability in somebody else. We're all just scared little mice at the end of the day, and all of these 3D things are they're just costumes. They're just masks. Taking off the mask is how you will connect, or how you will reconnect. But 5 out of 5 across the board, this union is being helped. So the next part of this reading is going to be messages from your person. So this is a combination of homemade cards. The green ones are like light messages or positive messages. The purple ones are shadow messages, or, you know, a little bit more negative messages. And I mix them together so that we can get a well-rounded idea of how this person is feeling. This is the first reading I'm using this deck in. I have tested them out a few times, and I just wanted to say that sometimes the messages can be conflicting or confusing. But people are just like that, you know? Sometimes our head says one thing and our heart says another. Our intuition says one thing, our ego says another. So I'm just gonna lay them all out together, and if there's any conflicting messages, we'll work through it and figure out what this person is trying to tell you. So group 2, messages from their person. You wouldn't understand what I'm going through. So somebody is closed off. I'll never feel the same about anyone else. And by the way, I do want to point out this, you wouldn't understand what I'm going through. This is from their perspective. It doesn't mean that objectively you wouldn't understand, but they might think that nobody can understand them, and that's why they don't open up. And that can be a self-fulfilling prophecy, and it's one that I see a lot in readings. Unfortunately, it's something that I've dealt with myself in my relationships, where I just think that nobody would understand how I feel, so I don't say how I feel, but then they don't understand because I'm not saying it. So it's like I fulfill my own negative belief. And I see a little bit of that in this connection too. I love our inside jokes. If you know this person in the 3D, then they love your inside jokes, or they love little things that remind them of you. It doesn't necessarily have to be a joke, but like, for example, if you spoke to this person and you mentioned that you really love dolphins, then every time this person sees a dolphin, they will think of you and they like that. So just your own little inside things, inside tidbits of knowledge that they have about you. If you do have an inside joke, then it could very much be talking about that. Or if there's some kind of shared, if you guys like the same movie or if you like the same musician, that could remind them of you a lot. If you don't know this person in the 3D and this is an energetic thing, then you definitely have a secret, I want to say like a secret language with this person where you send each other signs, you know, like, oh, if I see this repeating number, I know that it's my counterpart telling me this. And so this is them saying, I like this little code that we have. I like the language that we speak to each other with. Messages from group 2's person. You are my hero. So yes, like I said, it doesn't matter which one you guys are resonating with. This person looks up to you so much. You inspire them always to be better. You inspire them to be stronger. They want you to be proud of them. Messages from group 2's person. I feel lonely even when I'm with you. So yeah, this is definitely a personal issue. You know, you wouldn't understand what I'm going through. I feel lonely even when I'm with you. Their walls are up too much. They feel lonely even when they're with you because they're not showing their true self. And how can you be loved or understood for who you truly are if you don't show that to people? This person has some kind of self-fulfilling prophecy going where they like shut people out and then they feel lonely, so they shut people out even more. And I really, really hope that they would recover from this. And then finally we have, I want to protect you and keep you safe. And then at the bottom, this came out for group 1 as well. I didn't know what love was until I met you. I was going to say that's a very, very good sign, because I think that them finally feeling and experiencing real love, it could trigger something in them to start cracking their heart open, to start recovering from this vicious cycle. I really, really feel for this person. I really, really feel for both of you. Okay, let's move on to the spirit guide messages part of this reading. We have 4 different oracle cards from different decks. And the first one is, spend quality time together, listen and talk to each other. That is exactly what you guys need. You need to get together in person, because I think it's a lot easier to open up, you know, well, maybe I shouldn't speak for everyone. I think it's a lot easier to open up in person because you can read each other's body language, and I kind of like the idea of, you know, when you text someone, it's like on record. It feels kind of scary. It doesn't flow as naturally. I just didn't want to speak for everyone and say, you need to get together in person because that will be best. But if you agree with my feeling, it will be really, really nice if you guys can get together in person, in the flesh, you know, read each other's body language, read each other's nonverbal cues, feel each other's warmth, and just have a more personal and intimate discussion. Like we were talking about before, I feel like you guys need to open up about your vulnerability. This can also be indicating that you'll have the chance to do this soon if you haven't seen this person in a while. Even if you haven't met them before, this can indicate you'll have a chance to spend time together soon, and I think it will be alone. Because quality time is like just you and me. So if you haven't met this person yet, when you do meet them, I think that you'll be alone. And actually, even if you have met them, never mind. Next time you see them, it's just you and them. And I think it will be a more quiet and intimate atmosphere. And your exchange may end with a kiss together. Then we have butterfly spirit with transformation. I love to see this because this is such a clear indication that things are going to change in this connection. I love that behind the butterfly we have the oyster opening up to reveal the pearl, and it's actually making me think of the Queen of Cups card in the Weaver Tarot. Yes, the Weaver Tarot. The Queen of Cups has an oyster opening up to reveal a pearl, and I always think of that as somebody finally opening up to expose the feelings that they have been mulling over for so long. You know how the pearl is formed over time inside the oyster, and it gets more and more refined, more and more perfect, and then finally it's time to open up. So you guys need to have, or you will be having soon, some quality alone time. You will get to talking, you'll share your vulnerabilities, and you'll get to express and share some things that you've been thinking over for a very, very long time. And I would almost say that this time you've had apart to think about everything was a blessing, because now when you talk to them, when you express it, you'll be able to articulate yourself so well, because you've gotten the chance to look at your feelings and look at this connection from many different angles and piece together and take away what you need to take away from it and piece together what you really want to say. Whereas if you had the chance to have this talk much earlier on, you might have said some things impulsively, you might have said some things even though you didn't fully understand the situation, even though you didn't really understand yourself and your feelings that well yet. This time was exactly what you needed to perfect what you will say and how you will come forward. Just like the butterfly needs time in the cocoon to become a butterfly. We also have awareness. Immediately, what I think with this card is just getting to know each other on a deeper level, getting to know each other on a soul level, or perhaps just confirming in the 3D things that you already know about this person's soul. I'm also really being drawn to all of the planets on this card. Maybe astrology will hold a lot of answers for you guys. Maybe there are some, there are some hidden messages maybe in your birth charts about your compatibility together, about your past lives together. Or if you're wondering what is the best way to approach this person, maybe studying their birth chart would help to give you more insights about, how their mind works and everything like that. Maybe this is, if you don't know this person's birth time, you could be finding it out soon. Maybe they will find out and tell you. But yes, this is totally getting to know each other's soul. I feel it's so interesting because at the beginning of the reading there's all this fear and anxiety. As we're getting to the ending, we've gotten this beautiful confirmation, we're getting these reassuring messages from your guides, and now I just feel so calm. And then the final card is freedom. Look, we're going from these pairs of hands that are tied to these, I think they're storks, yes? Or cranes? I don't know what the difference. Let's call them storks. flying freely through the sky. And storks is also a sign of a promising venture, a promising future, a fertile future. Like if you think about a stork delivering a baby, it's like long-term blessings and seeds being planted, freedom, and spread your wings. And this can also be you guys are finally expressing yourselves freely. Even though it's not here, I'm getting Six of Swords energy because that card makes me think of a conversation that needs to be had that can be quite scary, but once you get into it, you get in the zone, it flows really smoothly. And I'm like, ooh, I'm getting like, my heart is beating when I look at this, because you might have thought it's gonna go badly, it's gonna be awkward, but then you just end up kissing and you end up in this like passionate exchange, you know? All right, so for the last part of this reading, we're going to see if there's any important time frames that you guys should know about when it comes to this connection. What time frames should group 2 know about? We have Cancer. So Cancer season might be significant. And we have full moon. Oh, you know what, actually? There's going to be a full moon in Cancer in January. I don't know the exact date, but the month of January might be significant. We also have 1 at the bottom of the deck, and January is, you know, month number 1. So that makes sense. If you guys are watching this video in January, then I think that this month is going to be significant, or within 1 month from now is going to be significant. But if you found this video after January, then I think that for you guys, it will be Cancer season. So late June to late July. But these are all the messages that I'm seeing for you. So I'm going to end the reading here. Thank you very, very much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. I also have a Patreon, so if you guys are interested in seeing even more exclusive pick-a cards where you get to choose the topic, that will be linked down below too. I'm sending lots of love to you, your person, your guides, and their guides, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye! Hi, number 3s. So if you guys chose the Rhodochrosite and the Moonchild Tarot, this is going to be a reading all about what is helping or blocking the union between you and your person, or the person you are thinking about. Well, when I say your person, that's what I mean. Sorry. I was having this very interesting visual in my mind's eye, and then I got kind of distracted and couldn't talk properly. But I just had this visual of your person, and I guess it's their higher self, but it's like they have notes prepared. Like they've been wanting to come forward and say some stuff to you. And they're like, let me just take out my notes. Like I have planned what I want to say. Very, very organized, very articulate. I think this is the energy of their higher self. They've really been wanting to connect with you. So I want to give you guys a breakdown of how this reading is going to go. We're going to start with an energy check of the connection between you and your person. And then we are going to dive in to see if your journey to union is being helped or blocked, and if so, by what. And then we are going to get messages from your person. And I think I'm already deciding I'm gonna take extra cards for you guys, because I'm really feeling that your person's higher self has a lot to say. Then we're gonna get messages from your guides. And then finally, we are going to see if there are any significant time frames along this journey that you guys should know about. So let's get right into it, starting with the energy check, and I'm gonna do this in like the person A, person B style, meaning that I'm not gonna say this is you and this is them, but rather I will explain the two energies that are present, and you guys can see if you're resonating more with this side or that side. If you resonate with both sides, that's totally fine, and it's not that uncommon. It likely just means that you and your person are mirroring each other very closely, feeling a lot of the same things. But if you find that you're not resonating with either side, then it may be that this is not your group. So you can think of this part of the reading as a way to check if this is in fact your group. So yeah, the very first card that we have here, this is going to represent the energy that exists between the two of you, and I'm just going to leave it face down for now because we'll like read the other energies and then do a big reveal. So person A is coming through as the Magician. How the Magician feels about their counterpart is the Panther. And how the Magician feels about the connection is Abundance. Person B is coming through as the Hanged Man. How the Hanged Man feels about their counterpart is the Stingray. And, oh, I got two for this part, so I just kept both of them. We have Move On and Romance for how the Hanged Man feels about the connection. Okay, so the first thing I want to mention is the zodiac signs that are present here. And I also want to mention, I just looked up to the camera monitor thing, and the timer was at 3:33. So that might be an important number for you guys. If you see that number, it might have something to do with your person, maybe a message that they are close by or thinking about you, or just that you are on the right path. So we have Aries energy here with the Magician, and I believe that the Magician is also associated with the planet Mercury, so I'm going to add Gemini and Virgo to that list. And then we have Pisces here with the Hanged Man, and then we have Fire with the Panther, so that matches with Aries energy, and then we have Water with the Stingray, so that matches with Pisces energy. So if you or the person you have in mind, if you do have a specific person in mind, have these signs in your chart, then that can be a confirmation that this is your pile, but you definitely don't have to. That's just an extra layer of confirmation for those of you who need it. And it's really interesting that you guys are coming out as the Magician and the Hanged Man. It's sort of giving me the feeling of this is the more masculine counterpart and this is the more feminine counterpart. But another thing I'm being shown that's very interesting, and it's coming from the Aries and Pisces comparison. Aries is the first sign and Pisces is the last sign. So at first glance, you might think these are the two signs that are the farthest away from each other, right? Like the first to the last. But the zodiac is a wheel, so actually they are the closest together that they can be, because after Pisces comes Aries. And it's being shown to me like it depends on what your perspective is. From one perspective, it might seem like you guys are very, very far away, could not be farther apart. But if you look from another perspective, you're right there together. You're very, very close. So this could be an analogy. Maybe, for example, you are physically very far apart, but your souls are really huddled up together. Or you might appear to be very, very different on the outside, but on a soul level, you're very, very similar. And it's even kind of giving me, you know, two sides of the same coin kind of energy, if you will. You're more similar than you may appear, is kind of how I'm taking it. When it comes to some main differences between the two of you, in addition to the masculine and feminine thing, I would say that the Magician is likely the one who's a really, really strong proponent, I think is the word, a really, really firm believer in free will. So if you want something, you have to go out there and make it happen with your own actions, with your own willpower. This would be someone who really puts all of the responsibility on themselves to make shit happen. And that's honestly not a bad way to be, but you know, I could see sometimes they could come up to frustration when they face things that they can't control, which is inevitable, right? Because if you have the feeling of, I need to figure everything out, I need to do everything, and it's life according to my schedule, there's not really room for a divine plan, you know, that can lead to butting heads with the universe sometimes. But yeah, I think the Magician's super free will oriented, whereas the Hanged Man person might be a really strong believer in destiny. What is meant to be will be, what is not meant to be won't be. Looking to the divine for answers, for guidance, for the blueprint. And again, this is an amazing way to be because it can bring you peace and serenity with your current situation. It can help you feel safe and protected and looked out for. But the shadow side of that is that you could end up taking a bit of a passive role in your life, or if something isn't going well, you could feel like it's just doomed to go that way because that is destiny's will, and, you know, not put efforts or make changes when you really could. So, you know, I think they're different and they both have a positive side to them, and then they both have a shadow side to them, so to speak. I could really think of this even as yin yang energy. I could already see how the two of you could learn so much from each other. And what really is making me happy, this is what I'm picking up from the connection between the two of you, is that even though you might move through the world in a different way and, you know, have different beliefs about, you know, the presence of a higher power or lack thereof, or who determines what happens in your life, you don't judge each other's way of living. In fact, you admire it. You think it's interesting. I think that the Hanged Man person finds it very attractive. I was going to say they find it very hot that the Magician is such a go-getter. I think in general too, the Magician has quite a charming personality. They have a very dominant energy to them, like that dominant masculine energy. And I think the Hanged Man person finds that very attractive. And the Hanged Man person has this natural instinct of wanting to be protected by the Magician and wanting to be provided for by the Magician. I'm so sorry, but it's coming into my head like wanting to be topped by the Magician. Anyway, and then the Magician, on the other hand, really admires the peace, the contentment, the serenity, the ability to accept things as they are, the ability to live in the present moment that the Hanged Man has. Even if the Magician doesn't like necessarily believe in spirituality and that kind of thing, I think that they can see spirituality as a beneficial tool to find inner peace and to become the best version of you that you can be. And they really admire the Hanged Man's spiritual side. I really like when people are different, but they observe each other and learn from each other and even admire each other, rather than trying to enforce their own way of seeing things and saying like, you're wrong, you should think more like me. Like, this is just a sign of two very open-minded and mature people. So I really like the energy of both of you. Now, let's move on to the animals here. So how the Magician feels about the Hanged Man is the panther. So you know that fantasy that I just mentioned that the Hanged Man person might have towards the Magician? I think that the Magician person is likely more than happy to fulfill that fantasy, because the panther is also making me think of a go-getter energy, of a passionate energy. I think the Magician person is very like hungry for the Hanged Man person, if that makes sense. Very attracted to them. They can't get enough of their energy. We have the element of fire here, so I feel a lot of desire. I feel a lot of passion, and also the desire that the Hanged Man person has to be protected. The Magician will totally protect the Hanged Man person. This panther always makes me think of someone being like, you better not fuck with my loved ones. Like, you better not get near them. And I think if anybody was gonna mess with the Hanged Man person, the magician would whoop their ass. And the magician could also get a little bit jealous if the hanged man, you know, is exploring other options, or if somebody else is approaching the hanged man. Whether they show that or not, I'm not sure. But yeah, if they see the hanged man getting a lot of attention, they're like, fair enough, reasonably so, because the hanged man is the shit. But also I feel a little bit jealous right now, and I want to claim the hanged man person as my own. And then how the hanged man person feels about their counterpart is the stingray. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't have the guidebook for this deck because this is like a mini version and it didn't come with the guidebook. So I don't know traditionally what this stingray is supposed to mean. And so I'm just gonna be going from my intuition, but this really reminds me of chakras, like the energy centers going from the base down here all the way up to the top. And I think that the hanged man person likely feels a very strong spiritual connection to the magician person. I'm really not getting the vibe that the magician is a spiritual person, but they could be curious about it. They could be open to it, or maybe they've just kind of started scratching the surface of spirituality and want to know more about it. And the hanged man is like, dude, you're already so evolved. Like, you're already so psychic. You're already so intuitive. I think the hanged man sees like spiritual and psychic abilities in the magician that the magician doesn't really know that they have yet. And it's really like the hanged man would love to just sit down with the magician and talk about the universe and talk about their life paths and explore their gifts together. I think this would make the hanged man so happy to like delve into this deeper with them and really pick their brain, or whatever that expression is, pick their mind. And I think the hanged man is simultaneously very, very attracted to the magician, but also kind of scared of the magician. And I think that this comes from the magician's dominance, you know, that dominant personality that they have. And I think it also just comes from the intensity of how the hanged man feels for the magician. You know, like the magician is really, really charming, but if you get too close, ooh, you're gonna get burned. The magician has this kind of like dangerous energy, or, you know, if I get too close to the magician, I'm gonna get sucked into their gravitational pull because of my really strong attraction, and I don't know how I'm gonna come out, you know? It's a dangerous love. Where was I going with that? So the hanged man might kind of restrain themselves or hold back when they're around the magician, because they know, like, I'm gonna start acting foolish if I get carried away in my attraction with them. So if the hanged man person is holding back from the magician, it is definitely for that reason. They just don't want to catch too strong feelings and start, you know, being reckless, let's put it like that. I also want to say that both of these counterparts find the other to be very, very strong and really admire the strength in each other. The magician has a more overt strength, and the hanged man has a more like hidden strength or silent strength, because I'm thinking of a panther who's very, very obviously like, very obviously like fierce and bold, but the stingray is like just this peaceful creature gliding through the sea. But then you better not get, what am I trying to say? This to me looks like a dangerous underbelly of the stingray. So the hanged man is kind of unassuming, but the hanged man is feisty too. Like you shouldn't mess with either of these bad boys, but definitely it's more like out there with the magician and more silent with the hanged man person. Sorry if I'm getting really excited. I really, really like the energy of this group. So we are going to move on now to these cards, which represent how each counterpart feels about the connection. And with the magician over here, we have abundance. You know what? I think that the magician is ready to embark on a spiritual journey. If they haven't expressed this already, I think the Magician is going to be very interested in all things spiritual very soon. This person, yes, this person is ready to dive into their spirituality more. I'm kind of feeling like sometimes I kind of get a feeling of who's who, and maybe for a lot of you, the Magician is your person, because it kind of feels like if you don't know who this person is in the 3D, this might be something that you get a download about, that you pick up on energetically. If you're watching them from afar, you might notice that this person starts to post about spiritual things, talk about spiritual things. But this could also be your energy, and maybe it's a little bit of both of your energy, like you're both delving deeper into your spirituality. And I think that the more and more you delve into it, the more and more you will uncover about your person, and the closer to your person that you will feel. The cups are making me think about emotions, right? This looks like overflowing with emotions, and then the third eye is overflowing. And I think that the Magician's like moment of awakening is gonna have to do with an experience that evokes a really, really strong emotional response. I often say like emotions and psychic insights come through the same channel. That's just something that I've always felt to be true. So something might happen in the Magician's life that makes them very, very, very emotional. And when all of these emotions are triggered, so is their, so are their spiritual abilities. And I realize that this card is how they're feeling about the connection. So the Magician likely feels like there is so much promise here. Likely they are overflowing with emotion when it comes to this connection. And they feel really positive things about it. And I'm so happy to see this, because group 1 and group 2 were kind of rough when it came to the cards from these decks. Like there was a lot of fear and anxiety, and this just feels really nice. This energy feels really, really nice. Over here on the Hanged Man person side, we have move on and we have romance. At this time that you are watching this reading, the Hanged Man person might be moved on from the Magician, or has decided to move on from the Magician. And this is likely just because they're not going to force it. We've spoken about the Hanged Man's personality. They're not the type to force things or to try to rush things. And they really do believe in and respect the divine plan. So they're like, if this union is not happening, if it's not ready, I can make peace with that. And I really, really think for the Hanged Man, moving on doesn't mean like they stopped wanting the Magician or they stopped caring about the Magician. It's just that they're mature enough or spiritually evolved enough to recognize like we haven't reached that stage in our divine plan yet, and I'm okay with that. And maybe it took the Hanged Man a long time to get to that place, but with this romance card, I think the Hanged Man person might currently be exploring other romantic options, or maybe they are with someone else. If this is you guys, if you do feel like, okay, this is my person and this is me, if you guys are resonating with the Hanged Man, this could also be reassurance from your spirit guides that you are allowed to move on. Like during this period of separation, during this waiting time, so to speak, you are allowed to move on and explore other options. And that doesn't mean that you're permanently or completely closing the door on this connection. It just means that maybe it's not time, and maybe you're meant to have some other experiences in the meantime, or maybe you just deserve to enjoy yourself in the meantime. So for those of you who needed that confirmation that, it's okay to explore other options, that could be what this is talking about. And again, it doesn't mean that your heart has completely moved on, but I think the Hanged Man has just found peace with the way this connection is right now. Obviously, you guys are not in union, because this reading is for people who are not in union. And they're not gonna force it. It's like they've given up control issues, and the Hanged Man has that serenity of, I know that if I'm hanging here, it's because I'm meant to be, and when it's time for me to be cut free, I will. So now let's look at the middle card, which represents the energy between the two of you. And we have nature. I'm immediately noticing that 74 adds up to 11. So in addition to, I think it was, 333 or repeating threes that we saw at the beginning of this reading, repeating ones could also be significant. Repeating ones and threes do come up for me quite a bit, but I haven't figured out just yet what it means. I mean, it appears a lot together in readings, but I'm still not sure what exactly it's referring to. Hopefully the answer would come to me soon, but with this nature, you guys, in addition to angel numbers, you guys might get a lot of signs and messages about this connection through nature or images of nature. For example, like rainfall or rainbows or flowers or snowflakes or animals behaving a certain way around you, or seeing your spirit animal everywhere. Messages about this connection could be communicated to you like that, but nature is also making me think of natural. We've established that you guys are pretty different in some ways, and I think that this card is saying, when you come into union, just show up as your natural self. You don't have to change anything to be, more suited to this person, or what you think would be more suited to this person, because you guys both have, or will both have, such a deep respect and admiration and interest in each other's differences that there's no need to filter or, curate what you express and don't express. You can just be your all natural self. And also there could be a message in here that this person loves you like exactly as you are naturally. I guess I'm thinking in terms of your appearance as well. They could really, really like your natural beauty, the natural sound of your voice, your natural mannerisms. Like, you don't have to put on any show, I guess. You don't have to put on any airs. Just be your natural self. Even, you don't have to do things to impress them or worry about coming off as awkward. Every natural bit of you just adds charm and it adds to your character. So just don't think. That's what they would say to you. Like, don't think when you're around me, just be you, because that is what I find so attractive. Yeah. So, oh yes, and I also want to, because I did this for the other groups, this was the number 11. The number 11 can be, it depends. It can be justice, but it can also be strength. I would think of, like the major arcana, I would think of justice as you guys being perfect matches for each other. And actually that makes a lot of sense, because justice is the scales, right? And it's 7th house energy. So that's two sides complementing each other, two sides balancing each other out. When it comes to strength, this is a card when it comes to connections that makes me think of soul family, and it makes me think of best friends, which is really, really sweet. Probably your souls are best friends. And I also think that your souls have been through a lot of shit together. Like you've probably been through some pretty hard past lives. And if you guys feel any blockages within this connection that you can't explain, like why does this have to be so difficult? Or why am I struggling with this when it comes to this person? The answer might lie in your past lives, something that has carried over. And even though you might not be able to remember it, it's still having its effects on you. So looking into your past lives could be very, very beneficial over this connection. And then the individual digits, every group so far has gotten the number 7, which is linked to the Chariot, which is about fast progress, which is about victory. So I think everyone's going in a great direction. Everyone who found this reading is going in a great direction. And then number 4 is related to the Emperor, which is like, I'll provide for you, I'll protect you, I'll keep you safe, I'm not going anywhere. And it's also an energy that reminds us to be confident in ourselves, be empowered and love ourselves exactly as we are. So man, it just fits in together so well with everything that we've been talking about. So, okay, let's get into the tarot now. This is going to be the part where we see whether your union is currently being helped or blocked, and if so, by what. As you guys might know, I usually don't take reversals when I pull tarot cards, but for today I am. I'm going to pull 5 cards, and If most of the cards are in the upright, this will mean that your union is being more so helped than blocked. If most of the cards are reversed, this will mean that your union is being more so blocked than helped. And then, of course, we will look at the actual meanings of the cards to get a more detailed picture of what's going on. And I'm already dropping cards. Okay. This deck, she's a thick queen, so I always have trouble with her. Shuffling her, I mean. All right, so group number 3. First, we have the 6 of Cups in reverse. We have the Page of Wands in the upright. We have the 4 of Pentacles in reverse. We have the Queen of Pentacles in the upright. Ooh, what's the last one going to be? And we have Temperance in the upright. Okay. So we have 3 upright cards and we have 2 reversed cards. So upright is the winner, and that means that your union is being helped. And all 3 groups so far have gotten this, which is amazing. So let's start with the upright ones. I want to talk about Temperance first. This message is coming through so much. The message of you guys balancing each other out. The message of you guys being like yin and yang. We spoke about that with these 2 cards. We spoke about that with the Justice energy that was coming through. And Temperance has this image of an angel holding 2 cups and like pouring one cup into the other. It's about finding that perfect balance. And this is also Sagittarius energy, which is about learning and expanding. So I think that you guys really, really are each other's greatest teachers. And I think that there is a little bit of you in each other. Like you're cups of water from the same pond. I was going to say the same ocean, but something smaller. You're like the same batch. I do think that you guys have a lot of angelic guidance with you, because Temperance makes me think of angels and 4 of Pentacles makes me think of angels as well. This union is definitely supported. I will say with Temperance, and the Hanged Man person definitely already can sense this, but Temperance does indicate journeys that are quite long. So I do think that from the time that you find this video, it could be quite some time before you come together. And it's just important to remember that things taking time doesn't necessarily mean that it's blocked. And things will always take as much time as they need to take. And it's important that we don't rush this process. This is totally like a divine timing, trust in divine timing kind of message. Don't try to fight it. And actually, an interpretation that I used to get really often with the Hanged Man, but that sort of stopped coming up for me, is that not only is this maybe a situation where things aren't moving forward right now, but if you tried to take action and push things forward, it could make things worse. It's like if you have a injury in your foot or something and you're like, oh, it's fine, and you walk before the doctor told you to. Why is this so hard for me to say? Like if the doctor told you to take it easy for a certain amount of time, and then you walk too soon, you could make things worse, and then maybe you have to take it easy for even longer. It's that idea of if you try to rush things or if you try to force things, it could make the situation worse. That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting when it comes to this connection. Here we have the Page of Wands and the Queen of Pentacles. This is really interesting to me because the Page is like the least developed of the court cards, and the Queen and Kings are the most developed. So what we could be seeing here is that there is some gap in maturity between the two of you right now. Especially, like, I personally would say maybe the Page of Wands is the most, that's my elbow, sorry. The Page of Wands might be, no, I can't say that a page is the most immature, but Wands or fire energy, when it's not fully evolved, it can be kind of impulsive, it can be kind of reckless, it can be kind of careless, you know, lacking proper foresight, lacking proper planning, lacking practicality, lacking self-control. These are the kinds of things that the Page of Wands might struggle with, whereas the Queen of Pentacles is very, very mature because she's a queen, and also Pentacles is very grounded, very practical, self-sufficient, ready to invest in the long-term future, has her composure, is healed, is, you know what I mean? She's like a grown, strong woman. It could, of course, be saying that there's a little bit of maturing that both of you need to do, but just the way that it came through here, the page and the queen are facing each other. It's like they are not, maybe the page just needs a little bit more life experience or something like that. There's just something about you guys not being quite on the same level yet, or being able to come together as equals who will put equal effort into this connection, who will both understand the value of this connection. I think that's going to take a little bit of time, and it makes sense because growth and healing and maturing cannot be rushed. It takes life experience, and you can't rush life. Life just happens at the pace that it happens at. So that might be a big one. I will say, like, there is an amazing attraction between the two of you. There is an amazing chemistry between the two of you with the Page of Wands. You'll likely find that you can make each other laugh, you can lift each other's spirits, and you feel so inspired when you're together and when you talk to each other. And I really think there is a mutual feeling of wanting to nurture the other, wanting to protect and provide for the other. It's really, really sweet energy, but I just think maybe it's not ripe. It's kind of the way I'm seeing it. And you guys might have thought that the union was being blocked, but time is not really a blockage, right? We don't have to remove time. It just happens. With the Six of Cups in reverse here, I do think that maybe there is something from past lives that needs to be healed, because the Six of Cups does talk about a very, very familiar connection, a soulmate connection, a past life connection. With this being in the reverse, there could be something from past lives that is working against you. Maybe that is preventing you from feeling at peace or feeling okay with the way things are right now. And I'm being shown it like, you know, when if you leave a baby, if you walk out of the room, the baby can't like perceive that you still exist. It's like if you walk out of the room, you don't exist anymore, and then they freak out. It's object permanence. That's what it's called. That's the visual I'm being shown of it. And it's like when it comes to this connection, you might have this feeling of, we're not in physical union right now, and that makes me anxious because it makes you feel like the connection isn't there. It makes you feel like you're actually apart, or like your tie is actually severed in some way, which is not the case at all. You're always together. You could never not be together because you're from the same little pond. You are the pond. Both of you, you are the pond. And there could be some kind of separation anxiety that comes from a past life where maybe you guys were ripped apart from each other unfairly, or you lost each other too early on. And that could be very like jarring for your soul. And you know, you're both here on earth, you're both safe, but when there's no communication between the two of you, your like abandonment wound or that object permanence thing gets triggered of like, they're not here, where are they? Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. And I think your guides want to reassure you, like, they're still here. You guys are always together. You will never be apart. Everything's fine. Like your soul or you need to learn like that this soul could not leave you. So, and it might be kind of painful if you look back. Oh, I wonder, this abundance card, an experience that evokes a deep emotional response and that triggers a spiritual awakening. Maybe one of you is having a dream about your past life, or you're watching a movie that's really, really similar to your past life, and then all of a sudden there's just tears pouring out of your face and you're like, I don't know why, like, what the heck? I don't know why this is happening. I don't know why I'm crying so much. And it's because something from your past life is triggered. While I don't think this is blocking your union, I think it's making the wait harder, or it's making the separation harder, because it's triggering a past life memory where you were very like brutally and suddenly separated and then maybe never saw each other again. So when you're not together, when you're not in communication, your soul's alarm is going off like, I'm not going to see them again. Where did they go? Where did they go? And your guides are like, shh, they're right here. Everything is okay. Like, you guys are together. And then we have the Four of Pentacles in reverse. So it is kind of giving me the feeling that, oh, it's funny because I had two different possible interpretations for this card, and now I realize that they both go together, because Four of Pentacles, it is a card that makes me think of angelic protection. So when I saw this in the reverse, I thought, oh, maybe somebody is doubting the angelic protection, or is doubting the divine guidance in this connection. And then Four of Pentacles in reverse, I can also think of it as somebody who's holding on too tightly. And then I realize that's, you know, the same thing. That's both the same thing. If you feel like the divine hasn't got you, you're gonna hold on really, really freaking tight. If you feel that the divine has got your back, you let go, because you don't, you know, the divine is like your harness. So you don't fall down, then you can just, you can just let go. So you guys, the more you realize that everything is under control, that everything is being overseen by the most loving and divine presences, by literal angels, then I think you'll be able to let go and find peace with the way the situation is. But you need to know that this union is being helped. You are not being ripped apart. It's just a matter of time, and it's just a matter of maturing. That's really, really what it looks like. But again, you know, this was coming out on the Hanged Man side, but even if you resonated with this side, this can still be a message for you. It's okay to move on. It's okay to explore other options and, you know, still keep your heart open to this union ultimately. Okay, so and it's okay to move on completely as well, I should say. You know what I mean? Because it sounds kind of weird if you're like, oh, I'm just dating someone else, but I'm waiting for my counterpart. That sounds bad, but it's like, it's okay. It's okay to let go. It's okay to experience other relationships. It's okay to gain that life experience. I just mean that you don't have to, like, you never have to, and I say this a lot, like, you never have to put everything on hold for somebody or just stand there waiting. Okay, so the next part of the reading is going to be messages from your person. This is a mixed deck, so the green cards are like light or positive messages, and the purple cards are dark or shadow messages. So there's a mix of like positive and negative, so that we can get a well-rounded idea of what's going on with your person. Like I said, I'm going to take a couple extra ones for you guys because I just felt like your person's higher self had a lot to say. There might be some conflicting messages, which is okay because humans are complex like that, but we will try to decipher it and figure out what's going on with them. For group 3. Okay, so first we have I fantasize about you. I am not surprised. I was picking up on that a lot in the beginning. I put the fire there just for just for extra indication of passion and burning desire. I could look at you forever. So more indication of very, very strong attraction. I think about reaching out a lot. You trigger me. Do you think about me? This one fell on my lap. I can't keep my mind off you. So, okay, lots of stuff about thinking about you, fantasizing about you, wondering if you think about them too, thinking about reaching out to you. This you trigger me. You might shine the light on the parts of this person that need to be healed or the ways in which they need to mature. And if they're not ready to step up to that, that could definitely trigger them. I wish things had turned out differently. If you have been involved with this person before, then this is likely talking about something that has happened in your previous relationship. But if you haven't met this person before, this can talk about something that happened in a past life. How do you see right through me? And at the bottom of the deck, we have, I'm looking for you. Wow. I feel like I didn't really need to add a lot of additional interpretation to this one because like they just said what they needed to say. It's pretty straightforward. I'm gonna move these just because they're kind of blocking everything else because there's so many of them. So I'm just gonna put them over here. And then let's move on to the spirit guide messages. So we have a few oracle cards from different decks and we're going to see what messages and advice they have for you with regards to this connection. Back to what you love, reevaluate your desires. Ooh, I love this. I get chills when I think about what this means for you guys. And we have the number 3 again. I think if you guys see repeating 3s, it's like keep going, you're on the right path, you're manifesting your desires. This back to what you love, you guys have been separated, whether that was in this lifetime or in a past life. There is some really painful, and I want to say tragic, separation that happened between the two of you. And this is like your confirmation that you can get back to what you love, which is each other. And there could also be a message in this card for those of you who are struggling with the separation period, for those of you who are struggling with the wait, which I hate calling it the wait because it makes it seem like all of the time that's going by is just so that this person will come rather than the time being a gift of your life. Does that make sense? I don't know. I just don't like wording it like that. But if you're having trouble with the waiting time, you know, getting back to doing what you love, maybe picking up things that you've put on the back burner, or discovering your passion, discovering your path and pouring your passion into a project, that could be really helpful. We have Aspen Spirit with Courage. Wow. And we have, is that the number 3 again? Yes, it is. That's also the number 3. So we have repeating 3s. We have butterflies, which are a sign of transformation. We have this fall foliage here. So you know, fall, the energy of fall does talk about release. I think when it comes to the cycle of your journey, you guys are in the fall season right now, which means that you are being encouraged to let go, to go through your winter, which is a period of introspection, and then your spring will come. And your union might start by somebody's act of courage. So somebody being brave enough to speak up, somebody being brave enough to make an offering, but also being brave enough to know when the time is right and to not rush things forward out of weakness. And then we also have health. Maybe somebody needs to focus on their mental health right now or focus on their physical health right now. We have the number 9 here, which is making me think of the Hermit, which is, like we just spoke about, a period of introspection, a period of reflection, a period of contemplation. Some of you guys, whether it's you or your person, might need to do a sort of purge in your life. removing things that don't serve you anymore, clearing out your house, detoxing your body, clearing out your relationships, your possessions, your limiting beliefs. There's a feeling of purging and purifying here and creating space for when the springtime comes. And then we have energy, intensity, passion, and power. So this is like the millionth sign. Ooh, I love how the light reflects off that. This is like the millionth sign in this reading, that there is a ton of passion and sparks that exist between the two of you. I might have to tell some of you guys, like, if you're in a separation period, you know, if you're in a period of growing and healing and maturing and self-discovery, it might be wise to refrain from hooking up with this person during that time, you know, continuing a physical relationship, because, you know, there was that message of someone's, I forget, maybe it's on both sides, like being afraid to get too close because you know you're just going to get sucked in all over again and you're just going to get carried away all over again. And I'm not saying this is exactly your situation, but the example I'm being shown is like exes who know that they gotta work through their shit, but like their sexual compatibility is really, really good. And then sometimes they can't resist each other. And then when they get together again, it's like they have amnesia of everything that went wrong. And they're like, let's get back together, babe. I love you. And then they just like go through this cycle again. So, you know, that passion might also make it really, really hard. Really, really hard to, you know, stay away. But I also think, oh, there was a message of you guys getting signs from nature and this person's higher self communicating to you through nature. And we have this big lightning bolt here. So if you ever see lightning flashing through the sky, it could be a sign that this person is thinking about you or, you know, fantasizing about you very, very strongly, as well as fire. And that includes fiery colored things like, I don't know, bright red colored leaves or something like that. Okay, so, and yes, just know that their energy is always with you. If I could give a closing statement on this card. It's a little bit hard to see everything, isn't it? Because I took way too many, I took way too many cards. But we just have one more part of this reading, which is the time frames. I'm curious what's going to come out here, because usually Temperance, when Temperance comes out, I'm like, oh, okay, the guides are being vague today. Just wait for divine timing. But yeah, let's give her a whirl and see. Why am I shuffling this way? That's weird. And see what comes out for you guys. For heaven's sake, how many is that? We're not taking all of those. Let's try that one more time. I'm not gonna push it though. Like, I really, really am feeling divine timing for you guys. So if the deck doesn't want to cooperate, I won't force her to, but let's try that again. Okay, first card that we have is Lunar Eclipse, and this card has come out so many freaking times for me that I know that the lunar eclipse is on May 16th. So mark your calendars, folks. These nails, it's so hard to... Okay, I got it. We also have Jupiter. Jupiter can be referring to Sagittarius season. Oh, and that matches with Temperance as well. Yay! The deck is cooperating, but my nails are not. Let's just move it all the way back around here. And then we have opposition. So I would usually think of opposition as 6 months, because two sun signs that are in opposition of each other are 6 months apart. And I do feel called to put these together just because I know that this time frame is a bit longer. So this is being filmed in January. So Sagittarius season is essentially like a year away from now. So I would say for you guys, while the lunar eclipse might be a time that brings powerful revelations to you and powerful healing to you when it comes to this connection, I think to see a full-on union here, I'm seeing like between a year and a year and a half. And this is definitely one of the longer ones, but I just gotta call it how it comes out. So these are all the messages I'm seeing for you guys. So I'm going to end the reading here. Thank you very, very much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. I also have a Patreon, so if you guys are interested in seeing even more exclusive pick-a-cards where you get to choose the topic, that will be linked down below too. I'm sending you guys lots of love, as well as your person, your guides, and their guides, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye! Hi number 4s, so if you guys chose the White Moonstone and the Gentle Heart Tarot, this is going to be a reading all about what is helping or blocking your union between you and your person, meaning the person that you are thinking about. So I want to give a quick breakdown of how this reading will go. We're going to start with an energy check of the connection between you and your person, and then we are going to dive into whether this union is being helped or blocked, and if so, by what. Then we are going to get some messages from your person, some messages from your spirit guides, and finally we'll take a look and see if there are any significant time frames along this journey that you guys should keep in mind. So yes, let's get right into it, starting with the energy check. And I am going to do this in the person A, person B style, which just means I'm not going to say this is you and this is them, but I will interpret the two energies that are here, and you guys can determine if you're resonating more with this side or this side. You may find that you resonate with both sides. That's totally normal. It likely just means that you and your person are mirroring each other very closely and feeling a lot of the same things. However, if you can't really see any of yourself or your person on either of the sides, then this may not be your group. So you can think of this first part of the reading as a way to check whether this is indeed your group. So the first card here, this is going to represent the energy that exists between the two of you, and I'm just going to leave it here because we will reveal it at the end. For person A, they're being represented by strength. How strength feels about their counterpart is represented by the owl. And wow, I just really feel for this person. And how strength feels about the connection is support. Person B is represented by temperance. How temperance feels about their counterpart is represented by the oyster. This is really sweet. And how temperance feels about this connection is represented by begin. So the first thing I just want to mention is the zodiac signs that are present here. And these can be a confirmation if you guys have these signs in your chart or your person does, but you definitely don't need to be these signs. It's just like an extra layer of confirmation for those who might need it. So with strength, we have Leo energy coming through. With temperance, we have Sagittarius energy, and then we also have air signs with the owl and water signs with the oyster. And I'm also noticing that we have the numbers 11 and 14 here, which for me, 1s and 4s together lets me know that angels are in the building. So, and even just the temperance card itself, it really makes me feel that you guys have a lot of angels supporting your journey. I want to talk about what you guys have in common. And also, even if you guys are not Sagittarius and Leo, this could just be indicating that you guys are the same element, because Leo and Sag are both fire. So, you know, maybe you and your person both have water suns, or maybe you and your person both have air moons or earth Venuses, or, you know, there's some tie with you guys having similar elements. I think that you guys are very compatible as well. You probably have a lot in common with this person, but you guys are both so incredibly strong and wise. I wanted to say wise beyond your years, and both so incredibly mature. And I think that both of you have really been through a lot. You have been through a lot as individuals in this lifetime. You have been through a lot together, whether that be in this lifetime or in past lives. But as souls, the two of you have a very, very long history. I was saying in a previous group, strength makes me think of souls that are best friends. That's just the interpretation that has come to me. After doing so many readings, if I see strength in a relationship reading, I'm like, oh, these souls are best friends. These souls go way back. This is like, it has the same energy as your childhood friend that you've known since you were like 3. That's your oldest friend. That's your day one friend. And this is the kind of energy that you and this other soul has. I think you guys know at this point, you guys know that no matter what life throws your way, whether that's life on earth or life somewhere else, you're gonna figure it out. And you are each other's biggest fan, each other's biggest supporter. I just feel so much unconditional love here. Really, really do. And there's a specific message coming through here. What really stands out about you guys is that even though you've been through so much crap, you're still so pure and so positive. Like, you maintained your innocence, you maintained your hope in humanity and your hope in the world, and you continue to spread kindness and love and positivity. And that says a lot about your character, because when sometimes people are dealt a tough hand, they could become bitter and they could pay forward their misery. Like this kind of, if I can't be happy, then no one else can kind of attitude. Or sometimes we also see people who use what they've been through as an excuse for their, for their unacceptable behavior towards other people. And that might be something that bothers you guys when you see that, because it's like, it's almost disrespectful to you. Like, I've been through so much crap, and because of that, I would never want anybody else to go through it. Like, if you guys have been mistreated, abused, whatever it might be, it's like, why would I want to perpetuate that into the world? Why would I want to continue spreading that? In fact, it's because I receive this treatment that I want to be an agent of change, and I want to make sure that no other people have to go through this crap. Like, why would you want to keep spreading that? And like, for somebody to say, I treat people this way because I went through this, I feel like it's one or both of you that just kind of rubs you the wrong way. But you continue to take the high road. You continue to strive to be the best person that you can be. You continue, like, you guys are very resourceful. You work with what you have. When you have the power to change something, you change it. When you don't have the power to change something, you pray to the universe to grant you serenity and acceptance. I just feel such a maturity from both of you. I think you're both quite spiritually developed, but if I had to guess, I would say the strength person interacts more with their spirit guides, maybe has an awareness of their spirit guides. Just looking at this cat interacting with the dragon, dragons make me think of really, really protective and loving guides. And, this little cat is not afraid of the vast soul world, is not afraid of their divinity. They're right in there talking with the spirits. The temperance person, I wouldn't be surprised if they believe in the possibility of a higher power or even believe in a higher power. But I guess I don't really see them, walking around the house talking to their spirit guides, or, I feel like this person is more actively in their spirituality, if that makes sense. Now, what I could say, I've just been going on and on about what is so similar between the two of you. I'm trying to think of what could be different between the two of you, but you're so similar. I think you guys, you're very reasonable with yourselves, you're very patient with yourselves, and I think you've gone through life with a kind of trial and error process. So you guys aren't the type of people who will hold back from taking action because you're afraid of making a mistake. You're like, I'm just gonna go for it and make mistakes and maybe I'm gonna get burned, maybe I'm gonna learn some lessons the hard way, but like that's life. I feel like you guys are just fully embracing the experience that is life, and you're finding your rhythm as you go. If I get through this reading and I start to see some evident, like really blaring or glaring differences between the two of you, then I'll mention them, but I'm not gonna like force myself to, you know, pull them out of my hat right now because it's just not coming to me. I guess maybe the way you interact with your spirituality is a big difference or something like that. But anyway, so let's move on to these animals here. I'm noticing that they both start with the same letter. They both start with an O, so maybe that's a significant initial, somebody's first or last name, the name of a country, city, state, organization. Could also be the month of October. And I'm also thinking of Ophiuchus, which is like the 13th zodiac sign, which is in between Scorpio and Sagittarius. So like around November, December, maybe that's somebody's birth month, or that is or was a significant time for you guys. But yes, I just realized having the owl here is even more confirmation that this strength person has a really, really close relationship with their spirit guides and with their intuition, because owls just immediately make me think of deep knowing. So how this strength person feels about their counterpart is likely, you know, they immediately knew. Probably the strength person, if you guys haven't met yet, the strength person already senses that the temperance person is out there, is already picking up on their energy. If you guys have met this person, then the strength person probably felt their counterpart's presence before they were even in the picture. Like before they even entered into their life in the 3D, they were like, something's shifting, something's coming. They're just really, really tapped in like that. And the minute they met, the strength person knew. Again, if you haven't met, the minute you do, the strength person will just know. Like, yep, that is the exact energy fingerprint that I have been experiencing. That is my counterpart. They just know. And I also think that this owl could be indicative of the strength person really, really admiring the temperance person's wisdom. And something about owls is making me think of huddling. I don't know if owls huddle up together, but maybe this strength person is very cuddly. They like to show a lot of physical affection. With this Leo energy here, you know, Leo and fifth house energy, it is very, very affectionate, passionate, loving. So the temperance person might really ignite that side of the strength person, really makes them want to cuddle, to hug, to be close, to be in physical proximity is just like one of the nicest joys for them. And how the temperance person feels about the oyster, I'm thinking of being very multifaceted and having so many layers, because the oyster is concealing this beautiful pearl, and you have to, this is totally not how oysters work, at least I don't think it is, but I was gonna say, you have to like stroke the oyster just right for the oyster to open up. So the strength person might be a little bit of a tough egg to crack, if that's the expression, a tough nut to crack, I don't know. Like they're very complex, very wise. They could have a little bit of mystery about them, or just like to keep to themselves. And the temperance person very much enjoys peeling back the layers and really getting to know the strength person's complexities. The temperance person is very, very patient, and I think they like a good challenge and they like a good puzzle. I was just speaking about this card yesterday when I was filming, and how freaking cute he is. I love this card. But this strength person, how can I describe it? The temperance person wishes to them, I hope that you don't ever dumb yourself down or oversimplify what's going on in your inner world just because, you know, the right person hasn't come along to appreciate it. Like, I hope you would never change who you are, Because, you know, some people just want instant gratification. They want everything to be easy. They want everything to be obvious. They want things to be maybe more surface level, so they don't have to think. But Temperance loves somebody who makes them think, who not triggers them, but who is a catalyst to their growth. Someone who challenges them, someone who, you know, holds them accountable, who calls them out, who grows with them. That's the kind of person Temperance likes, and that is exactly who Strength is. So, you know, some people might walk by this oyster and be like, I can't be bothered, and walk away. And they never get to see the pearl that is within. And maybe that's why Strength put the oyster there in the first place. It's like, I'm not exposing my pearl to every single person. They got to work for it. Or like, if you're not willing to work past this shell, then that just shows me why the shell is there, because you don't deserve this pearl. It's this kind of thing. And Temperance is so intrigued by all of the layers. Think of it as like there's an oyster shell, and then there's something below the shell, and there's more and more and more until you get to the pearl. And Temperance will love to just get to know the Strength person and peel back all of it. Like, get really deep and just get lost in them. So honestly, both of these, again, are giving me vibes of deep knowing. Your energy is just really similar, really compatible. It just feels very peaceful. And this is definitely not your first rodeo together. So moving on to these cards now, how you feel about the connection. The Strength person feels support. I do think that this is referring to them feeling divine support when it comes to this connection. Like I said, they're connected to their guides. They immediately knew this was their person, and they really do feel like they are being supported. There was a similar imagery in a different card that I'm just being reminded of, how it's like the glasses are pouring in unison with the rain. So it gives me this feeling of going with the flow. Like, when the rain falls, I will pour down too. So I think the Strength person is very much just going to the flow when it comes to this connection. They understand that this connection is infinite, and it's interesting because the Strength in Rider-Waite, and I think other more like traditional decks have that infinity symbol on it. So I think the Strength person knows full well that this soul connection is infinite, and I think they've been very patient. They have a high level of awareness of, you know, what this is, and they know that they're going to get divine support at the right time when they need it. And this can also be talking about Strength's desire to support Temperance in everything that they do. They just want to be there. They just want to be there for the Temperance person. Over here, for how Temperance feels about the connection, we have Begin. So they're definitely ready for a breakthrough. They're ready for a new beginning. I really like that this star in the middle of the Begin card it's the same shape as the star in tarot, like the star card, the 8-pointed star. So it's like the Temperance person has just been dreaming and waiting and wishing to get with the Strength person, and they might feel like they're just ready to explode. And if you look, the explosion is all made of hearts. So it's like their heart is about to burst with how much affection they feel for the Strength person, and how I feel like they're just so ready. Wow. Okay, so let's look at the middle card now. This is going to represent the energy that exists between the two of you, and we have personal growth. Every single group has had either a number 7 on their card, or when you add up the digits, it equals 7. Everyone's getting 7. I don't know what this is. And I keep saying that it reminds me of the Chariot. And Chariot has to do, well, it's the number 7 card, and it has to do with, you know, leaps and bounds in progress, like things are moving forward swimmingly. It has to do with victory, you know, getting to where you want to go. So I love that it's showing up in everybody's reading. And this is also making me think of the crown chakra, because it's the 7th chakra, and that's associated with, sometimes it's associated with a purple color, a lot of the time. And this can be an indicator of your highly psychic and spiritual connection. You might get a lot of insights about this connection through downloads, through just, instinctual gut feelings. And yeah, this is pretty straightforward. A message of the two of you really having taken your personal growth into your own hands, and you're ready for the rest of it. Like, you're ready to contribute to each other's personal growth. All right, so this concludes the energy check. So we're going to move into the tarot part of this reading now, and see, is this union currently being helped or blocked? And if so, by what? Usually, you guys might know I don't take reversals when I'm using tarot cards, but today I am going to be taking the reversals. I'm going to pull 5 cards, and if there are more upright cards than reversal, I'm going to take that to mean that your union is more so being helped than blocked. And if there are more reversals than uprights, I'm going to take that to mean your union is more so being blocked than helped. All right, so group 4. At the time that group 4 is watching this reading, is the union with their person being helped or blocked? We have the Page of Crystals in reverse. We have the Ace of Crystals in reverse. We have the 5 of Cups in the upright. We have the Ace of Swords in reverse. And we have the 4 of Crystals in reverse. Okay, so there are quite a bit of reversals here. This is the 3rd group to get the 4 of Wands, but this is the first time I'm seeing it in the reverse. One or both of you has gone through something pretty tough recently, or is currently going through something really tough. And we do have a majority of reversals, and it kind of feels like something is put on hold. Something has been put on hold, or your guides are saying like it's just not the time to move things forward right now. I do think it's only a matter of time before things get moving again. And it's interesting that the one upright card is the 5 of Cups. And it's very interesting the direction that the person is facing. This is a card that talks about loss, disappointments, sadness, but it reminds us to focus on the positive, and it reminds us that, we're not doomed. It's not the end of the world because this thing happened. So it kind of looks like your connection came to a temporary standstill, or is just being stopped for now because of something that has happened. But usually this person would be looking at the spilled cups and crying, but here they're looking at the upright cups, and this is like a very clear depiction of your guides asking you to remain positive and to recognize that whatever is going on here, it's just temporary. But if you guys are feeling like something has been put on hold, like things were looking really good in this connection and then all of a sudden communication cut off, or you were feeling, if you guys haven't met in the 3D, you were feeling their energy really, really strongly, and now suddenly you don't feel it so much anymore. You got a prediction of, the union coming, and then the time passed and it didn't happen, and you're thinking like, what's going on? I do see that there's been some kind of change of plans or delay or something like that. Something that happened in your personal life, or something that happened, in the world that blocked you guys from coming together. Something has happened. And with this 5 of Cups here, it's okay to be sad about that. It's okay to be disappointed about that. I think you guys are so used to, and this is like no matter which side you resonate with, or maybe you resonate with both, You guys are so used to being the bigger person and being strong in the face of adversity and taking the high road and this and that. It's okay to just be sad sometimes. Maybe you guys think that, you know, it would be petty to be disappointed because you should be so grateful for your guides for orchestrating this connection. They're saying it's okay. Like, we know what it's like to be human. And when things like this happen, it sucks. And it's okay to feel like it sucks. And as your guides, we can see how you're feeling anyway. And we can see that you're struggling with these feelings of disappointment. And they're saying, just let it out. It's okay. It is disappointing. Something was like stopped. Something was delayed. I think that this goes back to a time when one or both of you were asleep. That's kind of a weird way to put it, but it's like before somebody's spiritual awakening. When I see the Ace of Crystals in reverse, the Ace of Wands in reverse, I think of this as a disconnect between your corporeal self, your human self and your higher self. And this goes back to some decisions that somebody made when they were acting from their ego, when they were disconnected from their higher self. Maybe they were acting out of fear and they said or did some things they didn't mean, or they just made a choice that wasn't in alignment with their soul's path and kind of strayed far away. Maybe somebody like physically moved somewhere, or they entered into a relationship, or they chose a career path that wasn't right for them, but they just kept ignoring the call from their soul, and now they're having to deal with the aftermath of that. And you know, we always have free will, so even when there is a divine plan in place, the choices that we make can affect the timing of things. It can affect how things play out, of course. And I'm kind of dealing with something like this now, where I made a lot of, not wise decisions in my past, and now I'm having to deal with them. And, even though I'm in a more evolved and happy and good head on my shoulders place right now, I'm kind of having to deal with and clear away what past me did. And I'm sure it's all for the best. I'm sure there was a method to past me's madness, but it's still frustrating. I'm sure it's all part of the plan in some way, and I'll figure it out. But this is kind of the vibe that I'm getting. And actually, with the Page of Crystals, it was like the divine offered one or both of you an opportunity, an invitation to pursue a dream, an invitation to pursue a new path. And just out of fear or something, the person didn't take it. So if I can give an example, let's say this is like a long distance situation. One of you is in Taiwan and one of you is in Switzerland. And it's the person in Switzerland's dream to go and live in Taiwan. And so their counterpart is there waiting for them. And then, maybe the Rona happened and they couldn't go. Or they had an opportunity to move there and they were like, you know what? I'm not feeling ready. Maybe I'll wait another month. And then the Rona happened and a month turned into like 2 years. Or, something like that. It was like they got the offer from the universe. They got the call from the universe, because this is embarking on new journeys. This is creating new things, starting a new adventure, a new exciting adventure. And their soul was really calling them to go for it. And I don't know, they just like chickened out, or they were previously committed to, maybe the person in Switzerland was like dating someone who was really, really bad for them, but they were like, oh no, but I'm with this person. I can't move now. I'm still in my relationship with Leslie. No offense to anybody named Leslie, that's just a random name that came to my mind. You know, they were acting in a way that was out of alignment with their soul. And again, it's not the end of the world, but it can push things back. So it's just important to remember, like, it's never too late, and milk spills sometimes, and sometimes, you know, the divine just doesn't get through. And I'm not really sure who it is, because like, this person's really connected to their guides. Temperance is very spiritual. But you know what? It happens to the best of us, honestly. And it could have been both of you, but someone kind of missed the cue, is what it feels like. They missed the cue from the universe, and now they kind of have to wait for the next chance to come around. We have the Ace of Swords in reverse here, and we have the Four of Crystals in reverse here. Generally, the Ace of Swords in reverse could make me think of unclear thinking, you know, which definitely makes sense, because in the upright, it's about like mental clarity and decisiveness. So again, this could be somebody wasn't thinking clearly, or somebody was giving away their power. You know, this crown, it makes me think of power. It makes me think of victory and living your truth. So if somebody wasn't living their truth, if somebody was giving their power away, they may have missed this call. Maybe the person didn't feel worthy of accepting the opportunity yet, or of answering the call yet, or maybe somebody was surrounded by people who made them feel like they weren't worthy, who put them down. Maybe Leslie was putting all these ideas into somebody's head of like, you don't really want to go there, do you? I don't think you're going to like it there. But Leslie doesn't really care about that. She just wants her partner to stay with her for selfish reasons. You know, being surrounded by those kind of people who sneakily aim to take your power away, and you know, you get tricked into giving away your power. And I just noticed, I was wondering about this. I always wonder about the snake on this card. There could have been some snakes in somebody's life where they're like, I just love you. I just want the best for you. I just want to support you. But you know, we've all had those people in our life who are like, I want the best for you, but like they don't. I'm sorry, I'm laughing because I'm uncomfortable and I'm angry at my past. But anyway, so, you know, it could be a number of things like this. There might have been some karmic relationships that were, you know, testing the strength of this connection, and sometimes got the better of you guys. But it does kind of feel with this Four of Crystals in reverse, you know, something fell short, something got cut off, you know, it was on your way, you were seeing the signs, it was planned, and then, you know, it's like a manifestation was interrupted or something like that. This is how I'm seeing it. And actually, if you resonated with, like, maybe you haven't met this person in the 3D yet, and you used to feel them energetically a lot, but not anymore, or you used to, you know, feel this person telepathically a lot and you don't anymore, or if you used to communicate in the 3D a lot and you don't anymore, like if there's anything like that, it could be that someone is ashamed because they recognize, oh man, I fucked up. I was supposed to go for that, wasn't I? Whether that's the person feeling ashamed, or it could even be the soul. Because I think that, you know, souls are not beyond those emotions. I don't think so anyway. The higher self could be like, man, I'm sorry, I tried to get the message to the human and they just didn't get it. But at the end of the day, the soul should not be ashamed, because it's not their fault. Humans have free will, and you can't force humans to do things. And when the human is ready, we'll try again. So, wow, this was an interesting one. So let's move on to the messages from your person. This is a deck that has both positive and light messages, as well as, you know, more negative or shadow messages, so that we can get a well-rounded picture of what your person wants to tell you. Using this deck, sometimes the messages can be conflicting, and we just, you know, I've learned we just have to keep in mind that people are complex, you know, it could be one message is from the human, one message is from the soul, one message is from the head, one message is from the heart, you know, these kinds of things. So if there's conflicting messages, we will analyze them, work through them, and see what your person is trying to tell you. So first we have You Are My Hero. I really like this card. This means that your person looks up to you so much. You inspire them so much. They just want you to be proud. They just want you to be proud of them. How are you real? Yeah, this person is just so in awe of you. You're so amazing to them. I think you give them a lot of hope. I think you make them, or will make them, happier than anybody ever has. Yep, you're like a diamond in the rough, I think is the right expression. And you are their best friend. We have, you wouldn't understand what I'm going through. So if it is your person who kind of dropped the ball here, I think maybe this is them asking you to not judge them, because the situation that they went through is very complex. And you know, it's always easier as an outsider to say like, you should have gone for it, or, you know, you should have left that person. Why did you let that person treat you that way? Like, it's so obvious as an outsider, but when you're deep in it and you have, you know, emotional involvement in it, you just don't know how you would act in that situation. I will say with this card, this can also just be how they're feeling. Maybe if they opened up to you, you would understand them. Probably you would, honestly. If they were to open up to you about why they made the decisions or didn't make the decisions that they did and what they were feeling during that time, you could very well understand them. But like I said, if it's them, maybe they're just ashamed. We can get through anything together. This is literally exactly what I was picking up at the beginning. And then we have, how do you see right through me? So there's that deep knowing again. And I could look at you forever. Aww. Aww. So like here, I would say these two are kind of conflicting, right? You wouldn't understand, but then how do you see right through me? So I would say maybe this person is staying quiet about how they're feeling, but deep down they're like, it doesn't matter if I stay quiet, because they know anyway. They know anyway, but I think it's like the swallowing your pride to come forward and say how you're truly feeling. We have You're Absolutely Perfect at the bottom of the deck. So I think this person probably just looks up to you a lot and, you know, against their better judgment. Like they know better that you wouldn't judge them, but it's just like you're so perfect, and maybe sometimes they feel like they can't live up to that, or their insecurities get the better of them and they think that they would be judged for their imperfections or something like that. I think this might be their ego talking, but overall the messages are really, really sweet, and they're right. You're right. You can get through anything together. Okay, so let's look at the messages from your guides now. So we have, whoa, oh my God. My ears are ringing like crazy. That was so abrupt and so loud and so unnecessary. And then I just looked up and the timer was 37:37. That's crazy. Like right, and my ears were like, that was quite piercing. It's gone now, but holy shit. Okay. Messages from your spirit guides. Thanks. Oh, have patience. Love is patient and kind always. I don't even want to say anything else for that. That's so sweet. We also have the Bluebell Fairy with gratitude. We have the number 6 here. Oh, and what do we have here? Oh, so there's a lot of like 147 going on. We have 11, 17, 7, 14. 147. That might be significant numbers for you guys. And we have the number 6 here, which is a number of unconditional love and peace and divine love and harmony. It's the number that is on the Lover's card in tarot. I'm not sure what the symbolism is of the deer, but what's coming to my mind right away is that they grow their antlers like, I think it's a yearly thing, but I know that they grow their antlers and then they fall off. So it makes me think of like cycles, you know? Your antlers might have fallen off this time, but they will grow back again, you know? And actually, it might have to do with being really, really tapped into your intuition. Now, I know this might sound like a reach, but this is my this is my logic that I'm following. You know how animals just have this innate intuition of what they need to do and like what's going on with them? They just know what's up. And I'm just imagining this dude here grew his antlers and they fell off. If he didn't have his intuition, he would probably be losing his shit. Like, my antlers just fell off. What am I gonna do? And like crying, you know, I've lost my way to defend myself, or I've lost my way to show off to my mate, or whatever they use them for. Like, I've lost my body part. They would be freaking out. But because they have that innate animal intuition, they're just like, oh, they'll grow back. How do they know they'll grow back? They don't have any proof. They just know. It's just in them. Do you see the big loop that your guides took me on? But it's like, if you're tapped in to your intuition, things like this will not faze you. Like, I know the antlers fell off, but they're gonna grow back. I know maybe we missed this train, but another train is gonna come. So they're just saying, don't panic. Don't panic. It hasn't been ruined. It hasn't been lost. You just have to wait for the next train, or you just have to wait for your antlers to grow back, and everything is going to be just fine. And we're always going to be here for you. Then, oh, look. Aw, never alone. Exactly. They're always going to be here for you. And I just noticed it's quite faint, but you see the angel that is protecting her. This is simultaneously a message from your guides as well as from your person's higher self. I'm always with you. I'm always with you in spirit. I am so grateful for the love that you give me, for the kindness that you give me, for the patience that you give me. I'm also now being drawn to the lotus, which makes me think of purity. And when I think of purity, I also think of like, nothing has gone wrong, nothing has been ruined. And purity also makes me think of a fresh start or a clean slate. There's an oracle deck, and it's actually by Denise Linn, who makes this deck, if I'm not mistaken. And it's Sacred Destiny. Yes, it is. The Sacred Destiny Oracle. And there's a card called Purity, and it has snow on it, because the idea is that the purity, aka snow, comes down and makes a fresh blanket over everything, so that past mistakes are just covered up and gone. So you will get another chance. You'll always get another chance. You will never pass each other by as long as you want each other, and you do. And then we have set intentions, plant the seeds and watch them grow. It's like already time for you guys to set the intention to reunite and plant the seeds for your next chance. Okay? It's time to set those intentions. Honestly, I'm really, really not worried when it comes to this connection, just because of how beautiful and mature and wise this beginning energy was. Like, I know that you guys will figure it out. I know that you have so much support. And this is your green light to start setting the intention to manifest the next opportunity. She's coming. All right. So finally, we are going to take a few cards from this deck to see if there are any important time frames in this journey that you guys should know about. And your guides are going to be generous. I don't know what that means. They're going to be generous with this part of the reading. Maybe they're just going to give, you know, a very specific time. So we have 2. And we have 9. Ooh, that could be a date, like February 9th. 2-9. And we have sextile. So I would consider sextile to be a time frame of 2 months, because when 2 sun signs are sextiling each other, they are 2 months apart. So I would say February 9th could be a significant date. There could also be something significant happening 2 months from now. If at the time that you watch this video, February 9th has already passed, then I think that you guys should take the 2-month time frame. Or if you're finding this video much later and September 2nd is about 2 months away, or it's coming up soon, that could be an important date. Okay, so these are all the messages I'm seeing for you guys, so I'm going to end the reading here. Thank you very, very much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. I also have a Patreon, so if you guys are interested in seeing even more exclusive pick-a-cards where you get to choose the topic, that will be linked down below too. I'm sending lots of love to you, your person, and both of your guides, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye!